kids. You know what that was. This is WLEOG in Austin.
You're
Coming
stoned
in.
again,
Wow.
are you?
What?
I love that. It's the Quiet Storm.
I'm trying to get us a new market, people. What the hell?
NPR.
Is it the people who are asleep market? Oh, wait, NPR, same thing.
It's the ambient market.
I'm telling you, we just need to go for the Quiet Storm.
Lunesta.
I'll tell you, if you're having trouble staying awake, just listen to Cyrus do the Leog intro and take 2 Valium.
Hey, kids, we're going to be talking about the best of the decade right now.
Excuse me, take 1 Valium.
I think it's going to be
Leog may cause suicidal thoughts.
groovy. Oh, yeah. Let's let Greg play us into that
I couldn't
best
hear you.
of the
You said
decade.
best of something.
Best of the decade, Bo.
Best of the decade?
That's what we're going to be
No
talking
one could
about.
possibly remember that far back. Most of our viewers weren't even born when that happened.
Well, not
Yeah,
you,
that's
because
true.
you were drunk through the whole thing.
Well,
And just
excuse
for-
me, most of our speakers were blacked out when that stuff happened.
And I was too, but fortunately I'm covered with tattoos like Guy Pearce in Memento.
Just
So.
for those of you who are sitting there
Apparently
going,
no-
but
apparently-
it's not really the end of the decade. Fuck you, it's 2010. Catch up with the future.
We are. Everyone has chosen to call this the end of the decade, so we are too. It depends on
Yeah,
how you look
and,
at it, I guess, but
Blow me, because did 1980 happen in the 70s? No. it didn't,
exactly.
so
Thank
suck
you.
it.
The noughts are over, and now it's the tens.
The
Or-
teen.
What
Is
does
it the
that mean
teens?
exactly?
The noughts?
Yeah.
It's like a
It's like-
a naught is a word
It's
for
like
a
a
zero.
zero with the line
I'm not a
through
fucking
it.
moron.
He knows who Jethro Bodie is.
My favorite double knot
See,
spy.
Leon, this is the way it works.
Not 7.
Oh, and it's getting started off this way, folks.
Well, we did.
Strap yourself in.
It did take us a little while because I prepared a list for everybody to look at, and unfortunately it got away from me and took all day. And so you can imagine how long it took for everyone to look at said
And
list.
can you
So-
imagine how much time we had to drink during
Two
it?
drinks.
It's so funny because I was like, okay,
Cheers.
Cyrus, I can't get there till 9, so just have everybody show up early, get everything out of the way. As soon as I show up, we can start recording.
And it's hour and a half after you show up.
Hilarious.
Hour and a half later, after Bo bought a very nice bottle of scotch.
Yeah.
Creeping up on midnight.
Oh, wait.
Happy New
okay,
Year
the vanilla
all over
scotch,
again.
who brought that?
I did.
Oh, no. Vanilla. The vanilla.
The vanilla
Bourbon.
was
The vanilla
mine.
bourbon.
Okay.
Not
yeah,
only
Harris,
was
thank you.
not only was it brought, it was
Created.
by
Yes.
Harris, who
Mr.
is
Harris.
the
Hats off to the Super
Yes.
Scroll.
the infuse meister.
I know that you
Smells
did not
lovely.
get a chance. A lot of you guys show up at his party because of previous plans. Like Bo had to work.
Yeah, I had something
Leon
going
was
on.
stuck in a position where there was no arguing about.
Right.
You know.
And
I was
all I can
in
say
in
is
Chicago.
There were a
had
couple of guys that needed money with a gun. to
I
his head.
had a
That was
lot less fun than I would have at Harris's party.
But he had a buffet of infused liquors at
Oh,
said New Year's
God
Eve
damn
party.
it.
It's
Harris,
true.
you need to recreate
You know,
that.
And
for
they
us
gave
who
me a
weren't there.
lovely sake.
I do the same thing at my house for non-drinkers. I do a New Year's Day buffet, and it's just a bunch of different tools from my toolbox, and I will hit you over the head with
Thank
one.
you.
Oh yeah, I was there that year. That's why I couldn't
It brings
remember
a
what
whole new
happened.
meaning to the screwdriver, if you know what I mean.
But not to be, let's do this. Let's get right into the introduction. This is the League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. I am Cyrus.
Yeah.
Sitting to my left on the Mad Axe is.
Yo,
Finally.
Greg is back.
He's back.
Woohoo!
After my New Year's from hell.
So I think we're going to be getting some more Greg than we
Yeah,
have been
you
the
will
last
be.
few
Yes.
months. Woohoo!
Yeah, if you actually, I've been for the new year. I actually started writing my blog again,
Which is brilliant. I
which
love
is
that
on.
Hilarious.
It's
It's a
Lovely.
great way to celebrate the year 2001.
Yeah.
book. In Blog Negro is
in Blog
Yeah.
Negro at Blogspot, but
I
in
actually
Blog
love your
Negro.
blog. I think
Yeah,
it's really
that's
good, and it's great because this way at least I have one black guy's blog I read.
There you go. Ouch.
Leon, you don't write
Also,
anything,
Yeah.
right?
Diversity. Diversity.
No, but I got.
I
But
don't understand any of your references, but I love what you do. You're a credit to your people.
talk. And actually, it's a funny thing about the blog. I don't talk about sports at all. But
No, you don't really. You talk
No,
about
I thought
stuff-
it's strictly
you talk about
music.
music
It's
and-
strictly about music
You
and
talk
being a
about
musician.
TV.
And TV. But it's about like more of that kind of stuff. And I end up having a separation from Soul Track Mine. I got fired from because Donovan just is kind of a knucklehead. But just read my blog, you'll track it.
So
We
just
need
go
to-
back. Just go
Yeah,
back.
that guy
to,
who made Mellow Yellow, he sucked.
go back to all of the times that we said Soul Track Mind is awesome and check him out and all that, and just do a little strike through and say fuck those guys.
Yeah, we need to call Nathan Fillion to take out his evil counterpart here in the Mirror Universe. I had no idea.
No, it's okay. It's like I said, read the blog, you'll figure it out. It's not really that complicated. It's just egos. So
That's what happens. That's
With
music.
musicians?
In a band?
I know,
no.
shocking.
Egos in a band.
Shocking.
Shocked.
Egos in a
Shocked I am.
I know.
I think
it never
Eddie Van
happens.
Halen would be more shocked than anybody.
Only to hear us say that. What are you talking about? There's no ego involved here. I'm
No, I
just
didn't-
in charge.
I'm in charge. I put my son in as the bass player, kick out the Michael Anthony. Because that's what he did.
Yeah, I know, that's right.
And,
Yeah,
and I was wondering, is there any
Are
more
you-
kids so he could have the singers? So he
Stay,
could have all Van Halen.
stay classy, Eddie.
That may
Stay
be
classy.
the single douchiest decision
That
in
was-
band lineup
I
ever
mean, really,
made.
like you
douchebag.
have David Lee Roth. It's like, dude, that's a huge mistake.
But
Yeah.
then
But then to fire Michael Anthony and replace
I
him
mean,
with his son.
the thing is, like, you see David Lee
Weird.
Roth and you go, I can see how he'd be hard to get along
Sure,
with
right.
after a while. You know, he's very talented. He was perfect with the band, but even so, he's a little outrageous. He's a little extreme.
Yeah.
He'd get on your nerves. But come on, Michael Anderson.
Michael
that guy was
Anthony-
just Anthony. He was just sitting there.
Firing Michael Anthony is the equivalent of kicking a puppy dog.
I mean, the
Collateral
one
damage.
Follows you everywhere and goes, what are we going to do now? Come on, I really like you. What are we going to do now?
The
I'm
one
gonna
thing they
lose
held on to after David Lee Roth was the great backup singing, which is what Michael Anthony did.
Yeah,
Yes.
those high notes he hits were really. I mean, the bass lines were. I mean, anybody can play the bass lines, but it was the high notes that he had behind David Lee Roth,
Yeah.
and even behind Hagar, they were good.
I'm gonna lose both my fans and be the only person to actually admit he liked.
Van Hagar.
Don't
Yeah, I
say
like
it.
a little Van
Okay,
Hagar
get
a
the
little
fuck
more
out
than I
of
like
here.
that.
You
You're
can leave right
banned.
now. Seriously.
Agreed.
No!
Fired.
Chicago, I'm sorry.
Sitting to Greg's left is welcoming back as well after a short absence is Kristen.
Hello,
Kristen,
everyone.
who has traveled the globe, or at least gone to Chicago.
Yeah, I spent Christmas in Louisiana with my family and drank sunrise to sundown.
That's what you do in Louisiana.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over your liver sitting next to you.
Yeah, it was just why I'm not drinking tonight because I need a little break. And then I
Your liver is actually the approximate size and sound of a Vogon from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
then I headed up to Chicago for New Year's to see my best friend and my sister, and had a great time up there. And then came back, and everyone was like, "It's cold." I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's really not."
You didn't
Yeah, she's like, it's cold-ish.
Tonight's cold, man.
It's
No
I'm
BS down
not
here
wearing
tonight.
Okay.
all of my nice long underwear and scarves and caps and all the stuff I was enjoying in Chicago. So now I'm like, it's freaking cold out
Yeah.
there.
Well,
It's
The-
Texas
apparently jet lag wipes
No.
out cognitive dissonance because
No, it's beyond
after
Texas
snows
cold.
in
It's
Chicago, she's like, oh my god, it's 20 degrees. Fuck.
Well, I mean, for the rest of our listening audience who has no idea what we're talking about, in Austin right now on what is today, January the 6th, 7th,
Yeah.
7th, they're
freezing.
predicting a big freeze. They're
Like 10
anytime we have
degrees.
any change in the weather, they scare the hell out of us. It's like the Cloverfield monster is
Oh my
coming,
God.
batten down the hatches.
The Cloverfield monster that strongly resembles a single flake of snow.
Yes,
The
And so
Dark Lord is made of ice. Ice, people.
So there's been nothing but talk about the big freeze that's coming for all week long. And right now, I'll admit it's cold.
No, it's cold
but
tonight.
it ain't cold enough to
No.
like really be scared.
Yeah, it
Not
is.
till tomorrow.
But these are people
It
who
is-
wear flip flops
It's 30 degrees.
Yeah.
when it's like 40 degrees out down
No,
there.
it's 30 degrees, but with wind chill, it's 19 degrees.
No,
so
it's
that
cold.
is
It's
pretty
cold.
cold,
I
no
will
matter
say
where
this,
you are.
One of the things that, like, those little amazing moments I had in Chicago, I was wearing black gloves, I was standing outside the Shed Aquarium to see some octopus, and started snowing, and the snow was hitting my black gloves, and I could actually see the individual snowflakes. I'd never seen an individual snowflake before.
Really? Wow.
I'd seen snow before, but never, and it really is shaped like a little
It's so
stencil,
pretty.
and
Yeah.
it just blew my mind, because I was like,
The thing you have to
I thought these were
understand,
microscopic.
especially
like, I
for
didn't
those
know
of you
that.
who don't
No?
live in Texas, living here makes you soft. I spent 4 years in Saratoga Springs, less than 3 hours away from the Canadian border. I had to go through blizzards. I lived through the blizzard in '97. I live in Texas now. It gets down to 45 degrees, and I am wrapped up.
Didn't
like
you
a
go to
goddamn
Death
snowman.
Valley on your vacation? Fuck
Hey,
you
man.
with the soft.
What are you
Man,
saying,
Yeah,
Allison?
no, and fuck you with the soft too, because when it turns 110 degrees here in the summer,
fuck
we know
that.
how to deal with it. As
Thank
opposed to
you.
Chicago, when it turns 95, they start to die.
Thank you, bitches. I lived in Buffalo for 3 years.
I'm so very sorry.
Snow, I know from snow. A couple days, it snowed 4 feet, and it was like you just had to guess which mountain was your car by like poking into the mountain and scraping until you found a paint color. So whatever. But those people, it would get 80 degrees outside, and like people would drop dead. Like, oh it's so hot. Like, yeah, whatever.
I like turtles. Anyway, of course, sitting here is my co-host Leon,
Leon, who's here, who's always here.
who's always here. You're forced by law to be here. In fact,
Yeah, it's a court order. pretty
Until they
much.
take that ankle thing off, then yeah.
And sitting next to you is like 10 extra degrees right there. So. Thanks for coming.
So, are you gonna do your own little speech intro thing, or should we just move on to Bo?
I don't have a really speech intro thing.
Yeah, I think we should just
Everybody's
move
had their moment, so
That's true.
Yeah.
We're catching up for the people
Well,
who weren't here.
oh, that's right, because Kristen talked about her
Right.
Christmas
Yeah,
vacation.
'cause I haven't been here.
And, for me, it was just taking a few days off from work, which, man, I enjoyed that. I got to sleep.
which is really a Christmas present in and of
that
itself.
that
for you.
is. That's like the greatest Christmas present I had all year.
Yeah.
And I was telling these guys, it was like, wow, it was like, I feel like a new person. Like I woke up in my avatar body. Like this is what life could be like.
Yeah.
And just to get it out of the way, Christmas, I got some good stuff from some Spill people, and normally I hate to even bring that up, but there's a guy who sent me the hardcover Preacher #1,
Oh,
and I
wow.
lost the receipt, and I don't know. I'm trying to find. I think it was Stephen F. Carey, but I can't find him.
Right.
But whoever you are,
Contact.
please contact me so I can give you a proper thank you.
Indeed.
And I got some other cool things. Oh, also Tom, Tom 025. Whoa. Let me see. If only somebody had sent me glasses.
Yeah, quite so
Old man is old.
Hey, my spectacles
Are those
there,
reading glasses,
Sonny.
Bo? some Captain Kirk specials.
Bo's handing him some
Yeah.
random glasses he found.
But you
around.
got another name, yeah. Tom G 025, who also sent me something really cool. And,
Wow.
Yeah. If these people could contact me, I would love to give you a proper thank you.
Yeah, in fact, I would like to point out now that, like, if you are going to, and we're not telling you to, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if you decide to send something on one of our wish lists, please send a separate message to our Spill account. Not only has who you are and what you sent, wait for a week or so we could get surprised by it first if it comes, but include your address and phone number, because you never know.
And I'll say this too, I actually bought something for Bo for Christmas, and there was never a point to which I could include a note. So I was like, hey, by the way, you're getting something from me. It's from me and not from,
random
a random
person.
person. So Amazon doesn't always let you fill
Really?
in info.
Because these have notes.
Well, the thing
It's
is,
just-
So I'm just saying that some things you buy on
Sometimes they don't.
Amazon
Okay.
doesn't.
Oh, right.
And
That
so,
explains a lot, because Bo was talking about the awesome gift that Flesh Eater got him.
It was the it was the cutter outfit, which was kind of
There-
disturbing.
the
There's
cutter
no
outfit.
From ElfQuest, when I wore it, it was a little disturbing.
Oh, I was picturing.
Please tell me there's pictures.
I was picturing you in some
We're
sort
not
of
sharing that with
S&M
you people.
outfit.
There will
with
be those
razors.
pictures.
I was picturing Bo with like an
tell me you recorded
asymmetrical
that.
haircut, sitting in front of some My Chemical Romance playing in the background.
Nice.
For you!
Nice. That's lovely.
Well,
Leon scare the living shit out of me.
imagine more loincloth hairs.
now that Leon is credited,
Well, that's
the
never
appropriate
in my
people who
head.
deserve to be credited.
Yes.
Sitting to his left is.
Bo. And I've been here since the last best of, so I require no explanation. My expiration date is way past due.
That is true.
Yes.
You smell a little funky.
And I'm covered with penicillin,
I don't want to even.
which is kind of the opposite of the way that I usually am.
Covered in the blood of dead hookers?
I was about to say.
I keep forgetting. I keep seeing on the internet, and I keep not saving it. But somebody built a dead hooker refrigerator.
No, yeah, I saw that.
Have you seen that?
Unfortunately, it only says storage capacity 2.
Yeah.
Pikers.
That's
Pikers.
You can fit so many more than that if you get one of those vacuum seal pack things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
You just if you leave them on your body farm for a while, they get really gelatinous, and the skin starts sloughing. And sorry.
Well, you really want to put them into. You really want to make them into hamburger. Is what you
Well,
wanna
I'm curious,
do,
like,
so.
if you plant them in your yard,
never
do they
eat your
fertilize
cookouts ever
and the
again.
plants grow bigger?
You have to cut
No,
their
yeah,
vocal cords
exactly.
first.
That's why my grass is greener on both sides of the street. I would like to say, since we did uncork the thanking people for presents genie bottle, I would like to say thank you to Scott PJ. He sent me the Hayao Miyazaki Princess Mononoke, extending my very meager collection of Miyazaki. And
Nice.
thank you very much. Beautiful. And
He sent
he
you
actually went through the trouble of finding my real Amazon wish list by my real name, as opposed to the one that I had posted on my website.
And even now, he's
yeah.
looking through the window.
Exactly. He's looking through the
Hair
window.
hanging down on his face, a disturbing grin.
He's got
on
one of
his
those
face.
like little V-shaped knife sharpeners, and he's slowly bringing a machete
In
through
his
them.
windowless van.
But
He's boiling
on the
your
positive
rabbit as we
side,
speak.
on the positive side, I have a neat cartoon, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
That'll be on your grave. I got a neat cartoon out of this.
Epitaph.
Sitting to Bo's soon-to-be-dead left, or Bo being dead, not the person to his left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like pins and needles on the left side, so maybe I'm having a stroke. Or, since Gary Coleman went to the hospital, a different stroke. I'm sorry. What you talking about? Oh, he's an asshole. Fuck off.
He was he still wanted to be the guy to get that joke out. We all knew that joke, but Bo was like, I'm gonna be the guy to tell it. Damn it.
I will actually shoot that gun and leap in front of the bullet.
But sitting to his left is the lovely Allison.
Hello
Who
there.
we haven't seen in a long time.
I know, a long time, like 3 or 4.
Happy to have you back.
Why, I'm happy to be back.
Sorry, Bo got a fast, almost knocked over one of the bookshelves.
He almost
He
went through a
nearly
wall.
killed me and Leon over here.
It's not merely a bookshelf, it's like a shelf of all media.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if you guys die, it means I move up to being an actual member. So.
Nice.
How was your New Year's Eve / Christmas there, Allison?
Yeah, Allison. So tell us about your Christmas.
Christmas was good. Santa was kind. New Year's, whatever. I got robbed by the police.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's what we were
But-
talking about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know. That's so fucked up. That makes me even madder than if it would just been some guy.
I know, like
Yeah.
I got.
It wasn't even
shaken
somebody
down.
cool like Vic Mackey who did it.
No. I got shaken down like Guadalajara style. I got like
You know what?
Shaken
You're so
down.
right. Yeah, it was Guadalajara
they
style.
rolled in and were like, we could charge you this $500 fee for blah blah blah, but we're just
Oh my
gonna
God.
take this
But yeah.
$200 worth of cash off of your kitchen counter. And
A
Well, they
deputy.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't actually
Yeah.
say it. They just grabbed it.
Yeah.
yeah, they totally did.
That deputy just.
So
yeah.
it was one of those things like you knew it was there because
Yeah.
the reason they came is because your house was broken into. Right.
Well,
No,
no,
the
it
alarm
wasn't
went off.
The
Oh, okay.
alarm just went off.
Okay.
And so the police responded as they're supposed to in case there's actual, deviant.
So you were
crooks or-
sure before that
Yeah.
that money was there.
Yeah,
Before
the
the cops
door was
came
even
out.
locked and everything.
Okay.
It was the alarm went off by accident. The money was.
So there's no question.
There's no question.
So
It
what
was
did you
totally
do?
the cop. What can you do?
We can report it at the very
Yeah,
least.
but they're just gonna laugh. They're gonna have
See,
like a.
okay, on just
Not
a
with
regular
APD,
regular
man.
patrol cop, sure, but we're talking like a sheriff's deputy.
Well, you didn't
Yeah,
say
we're
that
talking
before.
Williamson County.
You didn't say that.
And
Before. I thought it was just a regular cop.
No, no,
You didn't say
No,
that.
it's
Okay.
Williamson County.
Williamson
Alright.
County. And Williamson County, like I often watch the news and watch how their deputies and sheriffs
Yes.
are being brought up on
Yes.
corruption.
Basically,
Nothing
everybody
happens.
who survived the valley that was flooded in Deliverance now works for the Williamson
Yeah.
County Police Department.
It's one of these things where like Texas has a reputation for being like the last place you want to get arrested, just because of how strict
Very
the
well
law
deserved
is
one at that.
and how corrupt the cops can be.
Williamson
Now Austin
County.
is like this little bastion
It
where
is.
okay, it's all liberal and everything, and highly intelligent and tech savvy and this, but Allison lives on the outskirts.
Unfortunately,
She lives in the forbidden zone. Her,
I
and,
do.
her and Jason are out there.
I do.
You guys live in the Hills Have Eyes version.
it's so true.
I mean, that was like the whole thing with Jason having the
party?
Halloween party. It's
Everybody
like,
was like,
dude,
I'm not
I want to
driving out
go, but
there.
it's in Williamson County, and that's
Yeah.
the last place I want to get busted.
Yeah, they'll arrest you for drunk driving if you're passed out in the back of your pickup truck.
Yeah.
Like, hey buddy, you're drunk. Yeah, I'm asleep in the back of the pickup. You could be driving.
No. You could have taken a swig of mouthwash, and they would bust you out
Yeah,
there
that's
for
true.
being drunk.
And then anally
they're
rape
totally
you.
evil. But I often say that you could dig a moat around Austin and set the rest of the state on fire, and you'd be doing the country some good.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I just happen to live on the other side of that moat to which I refer.
We should totally be like a Miyazaki sci-fi cartoon or something where we just dig us out and put hover anti-grav devices
Yes.
under Austin and float it way up in the
We're
sky.
the reverse
Austin,
Gotham
the
Floating
City.
city.
Thank you.
We're the reverse of Gotham City.
Yes, we are. It's true.
It is. It's like a little shining bastion of hope and a redneck sea of outrage.
So
and-
what we're looking is to transport us to Illinois and transport Chicago down here.
Yes, basically.
Everything samey same.
It seems fair.
Or New York or California.
I don't know. I
Whatever.
still need it to be warm. That's very important to me because
Thank
otherwise
you.
I would have moved to Canada by
Thank
now.
you. I would have moved to Toronto.
Yeah, me
but
too. But
Yeah,
but
it's like
it's too
Vancouver,
fucking-
kind of nice.
Vancouver,
except
yeah,
for
it's
the
awesome.
But
freezing
it's too
cold.
goddamn
Love
cold. Like right
Vancouver.
now, it may be like feeling like 19 degrees outside, but it's just going to be for a day or two.
Yeah, like a week.
you know.
Whatever.
Anyway, yes, we're
It is
glad.
glad to be back.
We're glad you're back. Yes.
Fuck the police.
But
Fuck
sitting
the
to
police.
your
Who's next? Who's
sitting
next?
to your left is
It's Harris.
Harris, who threw the badass New Year's Eve party I went to. this
Totally
year.
good.
It was an
Badass
awesome.
mixologist.
Yes, he is the master fusion.
I like to think of mad scientist. I just come up with the odd flavors and let other people mess with, like, come up with drinks for them. I tend to drink my whiskey straight.
Yeah, I tend to too, but your stuff is just right. You don't make it cloying. You know, like a lot of those stuff, like we drank tonight we always do a shot before the things. He had a bullet bourbon mixed with vanilla, and vanilla bourbons when you buy them in the store are terrible.
But
They're-
okay, can you give you the secret of how you did that?
That one
Please.
is pretty easy. I mean, this one I will toss out to you guys for free. That was a case of you go out, you buy some actual vanilla beans,
Right.
not extract, but the actual beans. Chop them in half, put a little nice slit in it so you get the liquor all the way inside them. You pour it all into a mason jar, add the beans, let it sit for 5 days, pour it out, you pour it into like a coffee filter. All of a sudden you got vanilla bourbon that you're never going to find anywhere else.
I like that. Thank you.
But the two at the party that rapidly disappeared that I didn't think were going to go so quickly, I made a green tea with mint vodka,
Ooh.
and the other one,
Getting chills
really
just hearing
good.
that.
Yeah.
the other one that disappeared, and I was kind of convinced that no one was going to touch that because they were going to see it and it was going to be all orange and cloudy and go, what the hell? Was my pumpkin pie vodka.
Yeah, I didn't drink that. I don't like
Ooh.
pumpkin, so I'm like, But your milk and honey vodka that you made is
Oh,
my
the oat and honey
favorite.
vodka,
or
yeah.
oatmeal honey vodka.
Whoa.
That stuff is like so delicious.
Wow.
I can't even. I could drink that for breakfast every day.
That
Oatmeal honey vodka.
Could you do whiskey flavored vodka?
Flavored vodka. At this point, that may be the one I'm going to have to experiment with because I have to come up with stuff that's not in the stores anymore. But yeah,
Seriously, how do you Irish guys not already have that?
That'd be great.
It's
yeah,
whiskey flavored.
just for all of you who are complaining about
This screwdriver's wonderful, but you know what it could use?
How do you-
whiskey?
I love whiskey.
Just for all of you who are bitching about complaining about the Irish, I am wearing my Guinness toque tonight, so
Yeah.
fuck all of you haters.
It's true. And did you know that Oscar in Gaelic means water of life?
It means water life.
You can't get Listerine there in any flavor but whiskey.
I was very proud of the old
Irish
honey
jokes
one.
out.
It's somewhere between cake batter and French kissing a honeybee.
I would like to be clear that the Irish jokes being told here tonight are told by people with Irish in them.
Yes.
Wait. That's never stopped us before from making. I mean, so how?
know.
So,
Look,
I mean, how
I have personally knocked
Oh.
out the ghost of William of Orange whilst befriending a leprechaun. So you can all go fuck
Go
yourself.
My
suck
dad fucked a banshee. Fuck all of you.
So is this for 2000 or for 2010 a newer, kinder Leog that
No.
doesn't make
No,
fun of-
we're just gonna start making fun of the Scots.
So yeah, we go and make fun of our own ethnicity.
No,
That's
you
it?
actually missed it. There was this big thing because of Peter / Fungus Monkey, where he was all mad about us making fun of Irish people, even though it was the Irish making fun of the Irish, which I guess he didn't know that.
Well,
that
let's
was
not
what was
forget Bacon
happening.
Scratch.
But I don't think he was mad. He
Crispy
was just
bacon.
irritated And then it kind of turned into a thing.
Oh, so whenever we're making fun of other races, he didn't care.
No, Peter's not really mad.
No,
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
And I can say that I had full sympathy for him because I remember when Dave Chappelle did that skit with the niggers.
Yeah.
And we go to the bar and everybody's like, "Did you see that last night?"
Yeah, yeah.
And it suddenly gave all these people a
Carte
carte blanche to
blanche.
say,
Right.
"Yeah, niggers this, niggers that," and I was like
right.
laughing for a while. I was like, "Okay, that's about enough."
That's our word. damn it.
And that's what
according to
that's
Carte
what drove
Blanche.
him nuts.
And once again, random white people in bars, thanks for fucking it up for everybody else.
But that kind of thing is what drove him from his show.
Yeah,
That's-
no,
seriously.
Well, that's
No,
precisely why he quit doing
Yes.
this.
No,
thing.
I completely understand. Every time somebody writes in on Spill going like, "Well, you guys say this," and I get the impression like, "Well, wait, are we sending the wrong message? Maybe I need to quit and stop doing this."
Even though I think that on a purely semantical level, the whole thing is retarded. Same thing with the word faggot. It's
Yeah.
one of those like, oh, it's our word. We can say it. You can't. I mean, come on. That's going to get confusing as shit, especially for young people.
That's
They
true.
don't know any better. Okay, but at the same time, that's just the way it is.
yeah, there's a lot of
So
history
you know what?
in all these things.
You just should deal with it because that is the way it is. Yeah, there's a lot of history in it. It may be dumb from the outside, but deal with it.
On the other hand, if you're not living in Ireland or the UK proper and you're really getting bent out of shape about somebody calling you a Mick bastard, fucking take an ice bath and a Midol, dude. Calm the fuck down.
That's the bow I'm looking for.
I'm sorry.
That's the bow I'm looking for.
I just know when I hear people say like, "Oh, well, you say how come I can't say it?" I'm like, really? Is it upsetting your life that much? Because
Context.
I never say spick, and I don't.
It
miss not being
mostly
able to say
has
that.
the way to do with the way my ancestors came over here.
Yeah, the number of
Mostly.
white people who want to drop N-bombs and are getting offended that they can't, you might want to look into your motivation about that.
Yeah.
It's like, I know the potato famine was really bad, but all those people that came over here at least checked in with a travel agent. So fuck off.
That's so true.
Okay.
They didn't go on that certain express plan we don't like to talk about.
Well,
Voyage.
Well, what a way to kick off 2010.
what a way.
And
Yeah.
now the best of 2010.
You
I know,
never
I'm
know this is a
Lisa Lampanelli.
podcast about, I don't know, comic books and TV.
It's all the Garth Ennis episode.
All right. So you assortment of bitches, mix, Negroes, and and me.
Watch it.
It sounds like it's the beginning of the Curtis Mayfield song. Negroes,
You horrible kike bastards.
white people, what is?
Niggas,
Yeah,
Jews,
Jews,
crackers.
crackers.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Man, we
Don't-
really
There's a hair below.
we really
We're
need to.
all gonna go. It's a great song.
Don't
You have
call me
offended my dog, all of
Negro.
I know, but yeah.
He is
Cyrus.
offended.
Come on, we're offending Kristen's dog.
Man, we really need to get co-host in here so we can make Beaner jokes too. 'cause-
Yeah, that's true. We don't have anything. Yeah, that's not
No,
true.
man.
We'll have to get them back so we can make those.
And,
Because you can't make a joke like that unless someone is present
right.
in the offensiveness question.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we make gay jokes all the time, and I don't know anybody that's.
Really? Have you,
You
not
don't?
looked around the
Are
room?
you
This was
sure?
not here, but
Ouch. What, fish?
Yeah, I think Grant is watching
Yeah, yeah.
football.
Yeah,
Can anybody say
you think it's a coincidence
homoerotic?
that Jason and Grant aren't here?
I'm
Come on.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's right.
well, you know
So we
what?
said shut the fuck up means something totally different.
Let's stop making fun of ourselves over nothing and start finding specific reasons to make fun of each other by going through our best of the decade.
There you go.
And the horrible choices all of you except me have made.
I
Now-
see no way this could possibly go badly.
Now, the way we're going to do this, because we are going to try and get real fast through TV, movies, music, video games.
I would like to file
Comic
a
books.
formal letter of protest for the decade having passed so quickly. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's called getting old and being
Yeah.
near death.
Yeah.
Shut up!
It is, man. The older you get,
Remember
what
when
does it
10
seem like?
years took forever?
I'm
do.
sorry,
Go
some
back
of us
there.
were rather happy to see the back end of that last decade.
Shit, I can't remember when 10 years took forever. Fuck.
It was like, okay, remember how fast those velociraptors were when they were chasing you when you were 8?
No, I was riding them.
Why are you looking at Leon like that?
Anyway,
Wow.
let's start going around the room. Now, Leon and I are going to abstain from the movies because there's going to be an actual spill with the main guys thing for the movies. But you know what? Let's go ahead and start with the movies for everybody else so we can get that out of the way. But just naming off for each person some of your favorite movies of the year,
Of
or
the
not the
decade.
year, the decade. The stuff that really stood out to you and meant the most to you. And let's not try and belabor anything too much because we are just like about 2-hour podcast. Let's start with going.
Although, if anybody besides Chris or Leon would like to, although if anybody other than Cyrus or Leon would like to belabor the fact that the other guys are doing a big list of movies that's gay, that's fine.
That's offensive to gay people.
Yes.
Oh no, wait, it's
offensive
just
to you.
offensive to
Yeah,
me.
put
Yeah,
'em-
that's right. Yeah.
Now, I look at that list and there's a lot of. I mean, I'm not a super big movie guy. I go see movies and stuff, but the one thing that I will say about the aughts that I liked, or the knots, or whatever you call them, is the ass-kicking movies. Just like movies that just people kicked ass.
Yeah.
Like all the Bournes, The Kingdom, Street Kings, Traitor, Body of Lies, Taken. I just like ass-kicking movies where people get.
Wait, which
get
one was
ass-
the Kingdom?
Kingdom
Oh,
was
dude,
the
that's
one
where
with
Jamie Foxx and
that last firefight scene.
Alias. What's her name?
Jennifer
Garner.
Yeah, thank you.
And when they
Jason
after,
Bateman.
after they
You
took
lost me at Jamie Foxx.
no, but after they took Jason Bateman,
No, he's right. You know
after
what?
they took Jason Bateman, them going to get him back, or the way he took him.
Oh yeah.
Was
when they're
massive
over,
ass.
when they're overseas. Okay.
Yes.
No,
massive
all
ass.
those,
That actually
all
did
those
look
movies you
interesting enough.
named, I give you props because like they aren't like none of those are like my best of the decade, but they
No.
all fit within a certain genre. Like those movies kick ass.
Just ass-kicking movies where people got their ass kicked, or they're great scenes
There's
of
those
people.
movies where somebody says like, should I rent this? I'd be like,
Yes.
you'll really enjoy it.
I think that the defining thing was that they started to pump budget into those movies.
Yes.
So it wasn't like a Walker Texas Ranger episode
Right.
anymore.
Right,
Yeah.
Where
right.
it's like Chuck Norris fighting like dudes who are standing there waiting for his fake punch.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got
it's
Liam
like-
Neeson
Chuck
shoving
Norris-
nails
Yeah.
into a guy
Chuck
and
Norris-
executing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fleet of
It's
ninjas
budget now.
who go up one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris fighting your grandmother like dressed up as a desperado.
That guy. Yes.
But I think a lot of it is that these people look back at what they grew up on, which was the action films of the 70s,
Yeah.
and they said, let's take a lot of the things we loved about that, but add budget. We'll put some good actors in these things, and basically not make them corny, because some of those movies were corny, but they
Right.
had real good elements, like that whole the Death Wish concept.
Yeah.
That whole
Right.
this is so hard you can't believe it as you're
Right.
watching it. Even now those 70s movies like The Mechanic and stuff
Yeah.
like that are like, God damn, this is brutal.
Yeah.
And they took that and they made them mature. They gave them a polish, and yeah, you're right. It was a good decade for action films.
So
on that
that's
concept.
Good
and now
acting.
this, and most of the movies that you guys like, I like anyway. So I mean, but I know the ass kicking movies is something I just. That's why I still like watching Steven Seagal every once in a while. I just.
Okay, you know what? I was about to say something good. You just ruined it.
Yeah.
Wait,
you
I'm
did
sorry.
just
No,
ruin
wait,
that.
wait. I just like Out for Justice. I can't. That's like my terrible. I'm
Greg.
sorry. Anyway,
Yeah,
go.
good Lord.
Stop.
It's like you're about to make love to a beautiful girl.
I
And
know.
you take off all your clothes, and then she can see the skid mark. in your
Yeah, I'm
underwear.
sorry. I
Jesus.
ruined it.
Ew.
No, the
Wow.
only great thing about
Exactly.
Steven Seagal in this decade
Ew.
was watching the increasing number of co-stars he burned through really quickly.
Oh yeah. Well,
Well-
nobody wanted to work with him because apparently he was kind of a jerk.
No.
Really?
Whoa, hold on a second. I need a moment to be shocked.
Wait,
and
okay,
not just a
done.
jerk, but crazy. Did you hear about the Phantom Dog thing with him? All
I didn't
that-
hear about the
yeah,
Phantom
there were
Dog thing.
Ghost
I
dogs
think the
or
Phantom
something.
CIA agent kind of took the cake.
Yeah,
I
that
just
too.
want to say, do like a Nexus Lexus search or Google search or whatever search engine you have, and find the word Buddhist and jerk together.
Yeah, and that's
And
him.
Steven Seagal will be the only one that shows up.
He put out an album. He put out 3 albums too. You guys haven't heard anything.
No,
You've heard
But
him say.
you know
didn't
what?
know, and I hate
Steven
you for letting me
Seagal,
know.
Steven Seagal in any context of worth talking about is the 80s, and we're not talking
I
about
know.
that.
But
so.
what were you gonna say, Leon? I'm sorry. I fucked
I
up
was
your-
gonna say that all those movies you listed were movies that when you saw the trailer, you kind of thought this is probably gonna be terrible,
Right.
and they were all big surprises and like, God damn, that was so enjoyable. That was so much fun. Taken, that was one of those movies where it's like, there's no way this is gonna be any good.
and
then-
it was
I'm sorry.
amazing.
Yeah.
The trailer consisted of the speech of, I don't have very
Yeah.
much money. What I do have is a very specific set of
Skills.
skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. That was the point I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in.
Right, but it totally screams B movie. Like,
Right.
why isn't this being direct to video shown on Showtime
Like,
anywhere?
and-
before anywhere else?
I really think that this decade more than any other is the decade of the dubious trailer. I mean, the 90s
Oh, yeah.
were
Yeah.
the 90s were somewhat bad. generally in the 80s or the 70s, if you watched a trailer,
Well, the trailer gave you the whole movie back
knew what
then.
they were doing back then as
Yeah.
far as marketing. They were like, well, let's just show them scenes from the film and tell them what it's about. Now it's all about marketing. Now it's like, I remember when the trailer for Three Kings came out, I was like, oh, this is like we go back to the Gulf and win the war again. Big fucking deal.
Right.
And that's not what it's about. And there's so many things that you watch
the
the trailer
biggest
for and you're
example
like,
of that
this
for
is-
me was the first Transporter, where you see Jason Statham in a suit. How can you go wrong right there?
How
But
can
he's
you go
deflecting an RPG with a serving tray.
But- well,
a scene that never appeared in the
Right,
fucking movie.
right.
Yeah,
No, no,
Bo's
and I-
right. That's why I say, like, people's like, have you seen the trailer? What trailers? What movies are you excited about? I'm like, look, I don't even watch trailers. Like, when I watch
Yeah.
a trailer, I go, this is probably a lie. I'm gonna not pay attention. I still have not seen the Iron Man 2 trailer. I don't want to watch
the
it because
film companies
it
have
means nothing.
the film companies have contracts with companies that do nothing
But make trailers.
cut trailers.
Right.
The director has nothing to do with it. The editor has nothing to do with it. Producer has nothing to do with it. They sell it out to these people who do these trailers, and yeah, they're filled with lies. They're making these trailers for the films are even goddamn done yet before they even know what's in the finished shot. A lot of times the trailers sell you on a movie that is nothing to do
And that's
with
why-
the movie that's actually
and that's
coming
why
out.
you
I
get-
absolutely adored Sherlock Holmes, and by virtue of seeing the trailer, and I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, I was like, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, and I ended up.
But
blending.
see, like what Harris was saying about, like, I should have added the Transporter movies and the Crank movies too on that Kick-Ass thing, and then that's more cartoonish Kick-Ass, but I love those movies.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
what's the
have
common denominator in those movies?
Oh, Jason Statham. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's a good looking dude, and he's cool. And even
I love the fact that he has a dancer's body.
Yeah. I mean, cool as an actor. I don't know. I've never met the guy, but I mean, and I think part of the reason why some of those movies, besides what you were saying, Cyrus, it's like obviously the biggest thing happened in the aughts was 9/11, and I think a lot of that, especially obviously with all the Middle Eastern movies, all the Middle Eastern, ass kicking.
Dude,
Wow, way to take a
terrorist
bullet
movies.
and bring that up.
The greatest 9/11 movie that came out in the aughts was The Dark Knight. It was all about. It was like the first 9/11 movie that
about
people
terror.
could actually embrace.
Well,
'cause-
what about Flight?
No.
United
because
93rd.
That movie
It-
is
it-
hard
I
to
don't
watch,
know,
man.
Like, that's a great
It's a
movie.
great
movie.
But
It's a
it-
masterpiece.
It's a
a
masterpiece,
movie
but it's
that,
hard
like,
to
still,
watch.
a lot of people weren't ready to see it. Like,
Yeah.
The Dark Knight was the first movie about 9/11 that lots of people were willing to go see because they weren't going in to see a 9/11. They didn't realize it until they were in there.
I would agree with that, but I think the one that hit it before that was Fellowship of the Ring. No,
As a 9/11.
yes, I do.
Wait, okay,
Yes,
explain
yes,
this.
I'd like to hear this.
I'm
seriously,
sorry,
no,
but
go
as far
ahead.
as script, when they're going through Mordor, and Gandalf sits Frodo down, and he can't remember where he's going, and he's like, "We don't choose the times we're in." And sometimes the people, the speech that he does at that point, it is very much focused on the fact that, hey, none of us are heroes, none of us are this, that. We do what we can with the times that we're in.
Wait.
And it was very scripted.
Bo,
And here I thought you were going to bring up the time that Gandalf crashed a couple of eagles into Isengard.
Bo, you can't remember a speech from Lord of the Rings? You're cut off.
He's had a lot.
Exactly. No, where he's like, I wish we had killed Gollum, and he's like, well, he didn't ask for this. You have to realize that everything brings us up to here. But it was very much, the speech about look at things in a historical perspective, and realize that the time that you're in is the time that you're in, and you have to do with it the best that you can.
That's a valid point.
And I mean,
I never thought about it before.
that speech at that time, I mean, I was just fucking bawling. And one of the main reasons for that is that I was thinking of that, and I remember exactly where I was at during 9/11 that everybody else does too.
I know I can
And
rewatch it.
that was one of the first big movies that came out after that. And if you look at that, and if you think of the mindset that you were in at that point, there's so much stuff in there that's very resonant of that. And no one will be able to convince me that there wasn't some kind of editorial decision on that.
Well, there's no question that 9/11 affected a lot of what was happening in entertainment at that point.
Absolutely.
Some for the good and some for the not
exactly.
so good.
Sure.
Now, Hollywood has been certainly traditionally leaning towards the left, and not always, but 99% of the time probably. So I think a lot of it was like, let's not get too excited here, people, type of messages.
Right.
But there was the other side to the whole like, let's bomb the shit out of a culture that attacked us first. There was a little bit of that going on as well. And even now, like with Avatar this year, was like the whole like,
Oh, good lord.
I mean, that was a very like, guys, let's all calm down type of film in a lot of ways.
They
you know,
spread the subtext with a spoon on that.
Yeah, they did.
yeah,
I love the movie, but it's pretty in your face.
What's funny is that no one will. Everyone just talks about the Dances with Wolves comparison and the whole, oh, it's about Native Americans.
know.
It's really about the
that.
Middle East and us. I'm sorry, it really is. And James Cameron's even said as much. So
Oh,
I
look,
don't
it's
know
a
why.
backwards people that happen to have something we really want, really badly.
I don't know. Well, Greg, did you have anything else you want to talk about before we move on to the movies?
No, that was about it, because I know you guys will probably say stuff
I want
that
to
I
hear
like.
from Kristen, because she's been
Yes.
sitting over here quietly,
Yes.
Very
planning
quiet.
her attack.
Again.
Enter the Kristen.
I just wrote a short list down. Of course, Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I'm going to say Return of the King being my most favorite of it. I thought Memento was incredibly awesome and important, and I think possibly it was right after film school, so when I watched it, I was still in a very analytical mode, so that was why it was so important for me. Spirited Away, of course.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Miyazaki love.
So good.
Frida, because
I love Frida.
Nice choice.
I wanted.
My wife loves that
You know,
movie.
like she as an artist, I think that finally got her into the mainstream of a lot of people who weren't artists and hadn't studied her. And after seeing that movie, I'm like, why didn't we study her more in my art history classes?
All
And I felt
smash
like
make
down.
lesbians
It
unappealing.
did to me. That was one of one of those biopics or biopics that does what one of those movies is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it was about somebody who wasn't hooked on drugs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
It was a
Yeah, well,
unique
they're not.
personality that wasn't completely fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, it was actually just about like, wow, look at this cool, neat, totally unique person and how incredibly talented
And
they
what
were.
she went
and
through,
it
too.
carries, not
Yeah.
just because she herself is so interesting and such a good story, because it was filmed really well.
It really
So
was.
good.
It brings
And-
up a character like someone. In Texas, you see a lot of Frida Kahlo art, but outside of Texas, not so
Not
much.
really.
Yeah.
Not where you're not going to have a very large like Hispanic population anyway.
And really, there's no way you're gonna have a movie where Selma Hayek and,
Alpha
and
Male.
Ashley Judd make out
Yeah.
and not get on the top 10. Come on.
That was
Well,
it.
this is Kristen's top 10.
Yeah, I'm down with that too.
One of us, one of us.
So, what are you and Allison doing later?
I got some paint.
Where's the camera?
She's
All right,
looking way
ladies.
prettier than me tonight. It wouldn't work. I'd be
I
all
agree. You guys should
self-conscious.
totally switch outfits and see if it is just the outfit.
One piece at a time, and
Yeah,
we'll,
like right
we'll
here.
judge.
Allison's gonna be sleeping off a hangover. Just so you know.
Now
she's
that
like
we've
bar
managed to
fun,
make this
man.
really
I don't
You
know.
should do it now.
Going back down, Shaun of the Dead, of course.
Yeah. Is that on everybody's list of the best of the decade? I'm just
Yeah.
curious. I know it's on mine.
It's one of those movies that changed the game.
Yeah,
Oh,
Totally.
Yeah.
it very much did.
You're
And of
never
course
going to
it-
be able to make a serious zombie movie without people watching that going, aim for the head! Aim for the
Yeah.
head!
Yeah.
I mean, it actually is as much as Return of the Living Dead did in many ways. Like right after George Romero's zombie films, where suddenly zombies like, wow, we can think about these in a totally different way. I mean, to this day, people think that whole shoot for the head, the brains thing, is like, or I'm sorry, not shoot for the head, but the whole brains is like a part of the zombie lore. It's not. It's from that parody of zombie films.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's where it came from, was that. It was never part of the zombie lore before that.
Oh, how funny.
And even then, now, it's still not. Zombies don't go for your brain specifically. They just eat anything you have to offer. It's
Yeah.
only in that one
Yeah.
comedy thing, but your general public, that had such an effect, like, that people still think that that's what they're headed
How
for.
funny.
Yeah.
And you know, I was never afraid of zombie. Like I didn't think zombie movies were scary
Because they move slowly.
until
Same
Shaun
here.
of the Dead, and I was like, because Shaun of the
Zombies,
Dead
man.
affected me.
Creep me
Like it's
out.
about
It's about real people.
like these average everyday, you know.
Because they spend so long, like, walking through his little
Yes.
town, and then all the people later you see as the zombies, you're like, well, that guy was we saw him
Yeah.
earlier.
And it's people that I could relate to. Like
Well,
I don't know. It
when
was
you guys
scary.
bring
to
it
me.
up, I think about it. Like so many zombie movies, you see everybody in crisis mode, and they're in crisis, but they're also in normal mode, which we are in most of the time.
Well, they're
Right,
still normal people. They're still thinking about all the other shit going on in their
Yeah.
life. Because let's face it, these are slow-moving zombies. You know, I mean, okay, this is a problem to be sure, and it's really freaky. But you're still thinking about all the other shit in your life. Like, I really want to get back together with my ex-girlfriend who's here. I'm worried about my mom, and I
Yeah.
hate my stepfather, and all that other shit. And it's so identifiable because of that.
Yeah.
It really,
So much
you
stuff
can really
that keeps
connect
coming
with
to the
it.
forefront of your mind, even though you don't want it to. It's like, oh God, we're all gonna die.
And I have to go
Right.
to the same old job again tomorrow.
I know.
Exactly.
I wish I was a zombie and could eat these people's livers
Well,
right out
well,
through
what
their
should we
quivering
do?
flesh. Like, I wish.
Let's go to the pub. Okay, let's go to the pub.
Yeah.
Dun-da-da, 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 dun.
The tagline still is the best description of that movie: a romantic comedy with zombies.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, that is what that movie is. That's why it's so perfect.
With a special appearance from the cast of Space.
A space, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the movie that
So
brought
good.
Simon Pegg to my
Brian.
consciousness, and of
Yeah,
me
course,
too.
I think most people.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody.
I've loved him ever since.
Yeah.
And every time I see him in anything British, I'm like, oh, it's Simon Pegg. Oh my god, I love him. Yeah, of course, Serenity. No, I have to
Oh,
say.
yes.
Wally. Up. And was The Machinist this year?
Yeah.
This decade?
Well, it was this decade. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
okay, yeah.
Oh my
that one
God.
definitely, I watched that, just on my tiny little TV at home. It still was one of those things that you're just like, holy shit. That
Holy
was,
shit.
Wow.
Well, it's one of those watching an actor like go through such extreme things for the part. I mean, that guy looks like a Holocaust survivor,
Oh,
or the
yeah.
Christian Bale. I mean,
I mean, you
And
if
to
you
have Batman Begins come out the same year.
Like, yeah, the same
that
year.
was exactly exactly what I was gonna say. It was unbelievable, the change. I mean, if none of you guys have seen it, it looks like they took his face and put it on almost like a computer animated thing on the body he has.
It
compared
looks
to
like
that.
they
Yeah.
dug up Karen Carpenter's
exactly
corpse.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Stuck his head on.
I mean, everybody brings that up when they talk about this movie. They're like, oh, he weighed 65 pounds and whatever. It's such a good movie.
No,
It
well,
is.
yeah.
No, I
Oh my
dug the
God.
story.
Yeah,
no,
like-
it's a great movie.
It's a
beginning
Hitchcock
to end,
movie.
you're just like, what is going on here? What is going? You have to watch all the way through, and it's not those very last few moments you're like, oh my god. So yeah, it's worth the watch if you haven't seen it
So
yet.
good. I
Rent it,
agree.
for sure.
Yeah, I watched it, but I think I was a little on something other than alcohol that makes
Oh,
me
watch it again.
uncomfortable and confused.
Sorry, I watched it,
You know
and
what?
I'm sorry I had to stop and make a sandwich.
You know what? Honestly, going through these lists, I was like, what? I wasted a lot of this decade, man. Shit. Well, I didn't do shit.
There was a period between girlfriends when I was renting a room from someone else that I didn't really care for, that it was built of nothing but my movies, videotape stacked up. Quite literally, you walked in, I didn't even bother putting up posters because it was just this tiny
Furniture,
little room
yeah.
stacked with videotapes everywhere. And I had 2 VCRs and I would just rent stuff and copy it, rent stuff and copy it, rent stuff and copy it.
That's
Because
nice.
I would
You were one of those guys?
I was one of those
yeah,
guys.
And
that's
we're
high
so
school.
glad
Yeah.
that period is over.
Now I just buy it.
No,
and
they
all I
just
did
send it
was
to you.
all I did was something else other than alcohol that made me a little confused and watch movies. I'd go to work, come home, watch movies for like 6 movies in a row, pass out. That's what I did for like a year and a half. And a lot of those movies don't really remember real well.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of them probably weren't worth remembering.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably
dude.
true.
I love that part in Scooby-Doo where Velma unhinged her jaw and devoured Scooby-Doo like a rat.
That was my
That was
favorite part,
awesome.
too.
They made a Scooby-Doo movie? All right. Well, Leon, we're skipping because we're doing movies here. Unless, Kristen, did you have something else before you wanted to move?
No, that was all. For
Okay,
the movies.
we're going to move on to the Big B Man. Bo, what do you got
Bocephus.
for us?
Lord, never call me the Big B Man again.
Boom.
I will call you whatever I like because my finger is on the button.
Really, the first thing that came to mind when I thought about this decade in movies was the Royal Tenenbaums. And
Wow.
I'm really
Yeah.
surprised, because I absolutely loved it when I saw it in the theaters, and I own it on videotape, and I watch it over and over again. But really looking at kind of multiple best of lists and all the things that are coming out this year, I love it. It's such a meticulous, well-crafted, great fucking. I think Allison's.
You gotta watch Allison's
agreeing
motion.
a little
Yeah.
bit
There's nothing
with
works
me
Right,
better on
brother.
radio than hand
I know
gestures.
she's going fuck yeah with her hand.
Not only that,
agree.
but
Well,
you know, if it was just that, if it was just like, you know, the meticulous, well-crafted movie, that would have been enough. But the fact that they get like this ice cream performance for Gene Hackman's career,
Yeah.
And
that is so fucking ultimate. Boom. And before I let Allison comment on, I just want to say,
I'm not.
Wes Anderson throughout
I
this
will rape
fucking
him.
decade. Yeah.
If I find him in a
Life
dark
Aquatic,
alley,
fantastic, Mr. Fox,
he is mine.
the Darjeeling Express, everything.
Everything.
I absolutely
He is in
adored.
danger with me.
I know, and I'm wishing that I
Seriously.
brought my grapnel gun to sustain you while I finish up. But yeah, I mean, really, I think that when I look back on the '80s. My filmmaker is John Hughes. When I look back on this decade, it's going to be Wes Anderson. It really is.
Well, who was it in the 90s?
Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah, I mean Tarantino might have had it, but I mean
A little
he didn't put enough stock. I can't think offhand.
Well, he hasn't done his research for the 90s.
Yes,
he has
I haven't done my
for this-
research
right,
for the 90s.
for the knots.
But I would say that the 90s was very sporadic. There was so much stuff
Yeah.
happening. I don't know if there was one fucking
Right.
guy, but I mean the guy that nailed it for me every single try in the 2000s
Wes
was
Anderson.
Wes
I
Anderson.
really liked every single movie by him I've seen, except for the one I haven't seen, obviously. So I can't say which is the Darjeeling Express. So.
I haven't seen that one either. I think
have.
I would love to see it because I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Did
surprising
not
you
like
enjoyed it.
Life Aquatic at all.
See, I didn't.
loved
The first
it,
time I saw it in the
Life
theater, I went, "Wow, this is a big disappointment." And then a lot of people were like, doing the whole, you know what? Maybe you didn't see this, and we're talking to me about it, not like in that fanatical way, but in the very reasonable.
Right.
I was a little off put by it at first, but then I thought about it like this. I was like, you know what? These are smart people, and they're being really cool about this, and I'm gonna go back and give this a second chance.
kinda
And
like
sure
going for-
enough, I loved it the second time I saw it.
There's some like, you know, bubbles around it that you see the first time and you're like, eh. If you go back and you concentrate on the performance and the story,
Yeah.
it absolutely fucking holds up. And like, I mean, it's my favorite Bill Murray movie, even though I really, really adored Lost in Translation
Right.
and Groundhog's Day, which I think he did a wonderful job in.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of my
Well,
favorite.
no, I'm sorry. Ghostbusters. is my
But
favorite Bill Murray.
between those three movies, my you know, or between all of those movies, my favorite Bill Murray movie is
I'm a
Life
Stripes
Aquatic.
man myself.
That was what I thought of
Stripes.
first, and then I was like, no.
Caddyshack.
I think Stripes and Zombieland.
Rushmore.
There's
Rushmore.
really
I mean,
very few.
Strikes again.
He's got a pretty good career if you think about it.
There
Go
are
back and look at his movies.
there are really no Bill Murray movies that I don't like.
Yeah.
My favorite is Life Aquatic. Period.
Okay.
End of sentence.
Please
I'm
tell
sorry,
me
does
you,
the
you didn't
Aquatic
like
have a surprise
Garfield,
appearance
did
by
you?
a porn
No,
star? No, it
I
does
didn't,
not.
but I don't count that because I couldn't see his face.
Also, like yes, Wes Anderson is in danger around me
I
because
love that.
I am
As
Has
well, he
been
should be.
established.
so
And
predatorily.
he is a very good looking lad. There's no question about that.
Yes, and I happen to be attracted to the. I don't know how you describe it, like
Jewy arty guys.
Yeah.
Already
Wait, who's the guy? Because you first made that statement about the guy
Ben
Schwartzman.
Ben
Jason-
Stein.
Oh,
No.
Jason
Jason
Schwartzman.
Schwartzman.
No, not Schwartzman. No, who's the guy? The
Jason Schwartzman.
I
they
would
can
fuck
tell the
all of
difference.
these
No, the
people just for
HBO TV
information.
show that's Bored to Death. That guy.
Jason Schwartzman.
That's Jason.
Yeah,
That's
that is
Jason
Jason.
I
Schwartzman.
would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd nail him. Okay.
Yeah.
But the Wes Anderson.
He may be Jewish,
Yeah,
but I'd
you are.
nail him to a cross.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
you're starting off at a bang, people.
that's a great joke. That's a great
I'm
joke.
gonna fuck those first 5 books of the Bible right out.
That's a great joke.
Yeah, so everyone right now is talking about purging their Facebook's page. I think we're now purging our Spill
Yeah,
membership.
yeah, we are.
That is great.
So,
But I
Allison,
would say
that being
that
said.
Life Aquatic is kind of his interesting movie because
I
he's
agree.
not just set dressing, and people
No.
can't just go, "Oh, this is a beautiful movie because all of the set dressing." It's a really deep emotional movie.
It
And
is.
so for the first half of the movie, you're like, oh, this is just another Wes
I
Anderson,
think people
art
got lost.
direction,
They
whatever.
got lost in the gimmick, and that's why he has
that second-
refrained from gimmicks.
That second half of the second act, the third act was all about
From the
this is an emotional
helicopter
movie.
on, boom.
Totally.
Plus Buckaroo Banzai ending.
Yeah.
Double star.
No,
bonus.
and everybody says like, yeah, big deal. No, Buckaroo Banzai ending. Fuck yeah.
Listen to
That
the commentary.
made the fucking
it's the
movie.
first thing they
Yes.
say when the credits start. So this was just here because we wanted to credit our favorite movie, Buckaroo Banzai.
It's awesome.
The two other things, but before actually. 3 other things. I'm very sorry.
Fair
I'm,
enough.
I'm taking up some time, but there's some things but the things that I don't talk about: Lord of the Rings, Brick, Dark Knight, and The Incredibles. Fucking apexes
Damn you for
of
taking
the.
3 out of 4 on my
No,
list.
but I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about them.
Totally.
Here are things that I think should be taught. Children of Men.
Yes.
Best sci-fi movie made this decade, probably.
It's very arguable, and I have a hard time talking you out of it. In fact, I think it was number 3 for my best of the entire decade.
Yeah.
And so
And it
few
absolutely
people have
deserves it.
still seen it.
I can't believe
I
I
that.
haven't seen it yet.
That
That's
movie
the part
is
that blows
awesome.
my fucking mind.
It's a masterpiece
It is.
that people will be talking about 20 years from now the same way they're talking about Blade Runner right now.
Every
Exactly.
scene in
Well,
that
it's
movie.
not just the plot or the acting, which is all incredible, but the long scenes
No,
that are all
the
done
way
in
it's
one.
made, the
Hey,
way it's shot. I'm
the-
surprised more people don't pick up on
The,
it. And
the
they rip it off.
filmmaking is pristine. The storytelling, I'm watching Lost right now, and I really think these guys watched that during the process of Lost and utilized some things that were in there.
Which you know,
no question about it.
which I know once we're gonna go to TV, but I think that's one thing about the 2000s or whatever is that the influence in TV on the films.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yes.
deal. I mean, 'cause
And
it-
long form
Entertainment.
television.
and,
yeah.
and let's save that.
Yeah,
save
yeah,
save
but I
that for a
mean,
segue.
Yeah.
Third thing that just because I didn't think anybody else would talk about it, my favorite George Clooney movie of the decade, and my favorite Coen Brothers movie of the decade,
Oh,
surprisingly
Oh, Brother,
enough.
Where Art
Thou?
Oh, brother,
Brother.
where art thou?
Totally good. Didn't
Oh
it
my
just, like,
God!
It came out of nowhere, and it was like, oh yeah, you think you know
I
Coen
really-
Brother movies?
Before this movie came out, one of my funniest movies ever made, the thing that always made the top 5 list was Raising Arizona.
Yes.
I think this beats it for me. I really,
it's really
do.
good.
I laugh so much, especially being a Southerner.
And I
You
love
know,
the Odyssey.
And having the Odyssey, but that beautiful point where they're with Babyface Nelson and all the money's coming out, and Template Nelson looks up and he's
Sir,
like,
I believe you
"Sir,
lost
some of
fucking
your money has come unstole." I mean, just fucking brilliant. The first line in the movie is one of my favorite first lines in movie history, which is with George Clooney jumping up onto the box car and going, "So, any of you boys smithies?"
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that movie did was bring bluegrass music into the mainstream pop
The
culture.
mainstream,
Yeah.
absolutely one of the best, probably
That
the
soundtrack.
best soundtrack of this
Agreed.
this
I was
decade.
gonna say we haven't gotten to music
But
yet,
that
but when
will
we
be-
do, there's no way to discuss this decade without discussing that
Yeah,
soundtrack.
I
because
mean,
it was just that good.
so influential, so great. And I mean, and not only that, but people don't really remember this because I mean, Clooney, and he certainly hasn't been coasting on his charm. He's been doing some really incredible work.
Right.
But that was the movie that really not only brought him
Yeah.
up in the world, forgave him for Batman and Robin, but realized that, oh, the way that we need to go with this guy, he's the new Clark Gable. He's
Right.
charming as a motherfucker, and
A
we
lot
need
of
to
us
use that.
knew ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's just time. It's when everybody else.
It's when
could.
everybody
Right.
else. That is when
And-
everybody else figured out.
And when this year, when you go see Up in the Air,
Yeah.
Right.
you'll go, wow, he really is that guy.
He totally is.
He's-
He's,
he's
a
actually-
guy you want. It's like I want to hang out with this guy so bad.
That movie.
He's actually more Cary Grant than Clark Gable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think
no,
it's more
I-
Cary
I-
Grant.
I
Anyone
agree.
who saw Leatherhead saw that one.
I think
Right.
that's totally fair. And
But-
hold-
Oh, go ahead.
before we go any further, I gotta get Chris back for this because I need somebody to defend.
Oh. Uh-oh. It sounds good.
Okay.
You know what?
Dead
Let's
air.
just have some
Well,
nice
I think
dead
Allison's
space.
got a few
Brother,
ideas.
Art Thou?
Wait a minute. How did I miss? Come on, my favorite movie. I was
Did you miss anything?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
come on. We're still talking about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
The one point I wanted to say
Yeah.
is like that movie for George Clooney, because remember.
It broke him out of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
It really
I-
it
I
was
mean,
the one
because
that
I
knocked
hated
him
him
back out.
before.
No,
Oh
I mean, no,
Brother.
seriously.
I was
It's
like, I will
every time
not
he talked,
watch
his
this.
voice
No, yeah,
Everybody was
But
just like,
wait.
oh, he's just that guy from ER.
But see,
big deal.
that's what I was gonna say. Is like certain actors, you can see where the career could go, and you can see, okay, Clooney's on this weird path that if he takes one more stupid movie, he's gonna be gone and
Yeah,
irrelevant.
no.
That was the movie that.
And he did it.
Right.
And he realized that it's just like, all right, all or nothing. And he lucked out. He got that Coen Brothers movie, and he jumped at it wisely, and he worked it.
Right.
He's also had the benefit of he's able to do the crazy movie, serious art movie. Crazy movie, serious art movie. He'll do an Ocean's movie, and then he'll do an art movie. Where suddenly
absolutely.
He's like, oh yeah,
And-
he's a
And now
actor's
he's
actor.
kind of beyond. He's kind of beyond that now. I mean, even the goofy stuff he did, with the
Burn After
Coen
Reading.
Brothers movie with
Burn
John
After-
Malkovich.
Burn after reading.
Yeah, Burn After Reading.
yeah.
Right.
Which was just that was a hey, let's get some actors together and have some fun.
Right.
But it's still
I really dug that movie.
I love it. John Malkovich in that
I
movie.
liked it a lot.
and
I
it's
didn't
fun to
expect
watch. It's fun to watch because every actor in that movie, even though the plot is flimsy, who cares? Every actor in that movie is having a fucking
Brad Pitt was having fun with
blast.
that movie.
Oh yeah,
And-
everybody. Malkovich is having a blast. Brad Pitt's having a blast.
And
Clooney's
Clooney,
having a
if you were to
blast.
pick an actor to say this was his decade, it
fuck
might
yes.
be Clooney because
I
it
think
was
it's
1999 when Three Kings came out that
Right.
everyone suddenly went, oh.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
since then, his career has changed
And God bless you if you're still out there in LA trying on this shit.
keep going.
Yeah.
That's the guy. I
Keep
mean,
going.
because
Seriously.
a decade before that, he was appearing in fucking
Facts of Life.
Facts of Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What
that
about
shit.
Murder,
Well,
She Wrote?
I'm wondering
Roseanne.
if maybe Jeremy Renner might be that next guy because he was in Dahmer, SWAT. I mean, he's one of these actors.
Right.
He is a real
Is he the guy
hard-working
in the
actor.
Hurt Locker?
Hurt Locker. That's what I'm
No,
saying. Hurt Locker might be
The-
finally
when-
that role.
What
he
is
gets
the
that breaks him out.
the bad fucking TV procedural that was on with Amber Tamblyn and him earlier this fucking year?
I
It was
don't
on
know.
ABC. Everybody's got.
I don't even know what was the actor you're talking about.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. He's the guy for
He's
the
in
star of
the
the
Hurt
Hurt Locker.
Oh, right.
He was the bad guy in
everyone's-
SWAT.
A
He
lot of
played
Dahmer.
Dahmer.
critics associations are nominating him for Best Actor this
Shit,
year.
what is
Yeah,
that?
when
He's
I
one
saw
of those
him, I
guys.
was like,
No,
"There's
he-
something about
There's some,
that."
that's why.
motherfucker.
That's why even in SWAT, which is a terrible movie, you looked at him like he's not
yeah,
that.
it's like this movie
it's,
sucks.
It's something
but
about
I
it.
don't like
he's
this
better
guy.
than this.
You know what? You
All
know
right,
who I'm
here-
expecting big things of. Just to say while we're on that, it's Mark Strong. Honestly,
Yes.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he's the
Oh,
next
definitely.
guy
Mark
you're going to be
Strong-
like.
I didn't
Well, he-
realize that was
because-
him in Body of Evidence.
Here-
Because
Yeah.
Body of Lies.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
but
sorry.
is it
Body of Lies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Here's the final movie that I will bring it up because I Cyrus had to leave the room for a few moments,
Yes.
and I want a little backup on this
And-
because
and
I
you gotta
don't think
think about
that I don't think that many people are going to bring this up, but Moulin Rouge.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why you had to
Fucking-
bring him in here because
yeah.
you didn't want me to
I have
flame
got
you
your back
alive.
on
Fucking floored me.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Oh my god!
I may have
love that
I may
movie
have
so
rewatched
much.
that movie, except for The Incredibles. I've probably rewatched that more than any other film that came out.
Which is the other movie I brought up, but we'll not talk about. Yeah.
Huh?
Isn't that like the third movie though? And isn't there like a trilogy, and that's like the third?
Baz Luhrmann, yeah, he did Strictly Ballroom,
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet, and then Moulin Rouge.
Which, yeah.
I'm sorry,
You're the only guys who
brilliant.
watch Glee, too.
Yes,
so.
exactly, and
Kinda
so
makes sense
we're
there.
going to go outside and kiss after this, but yes.
Oh,
Fucking
and
Moulin
Yes.
Rouge.
if you guys are nominating Moulin Rouge, I think you're gonna do more than kiss. there might be a butt baby.
Bo.
Yeah.
You can kiss anybody as long as it's Harris. It better not be me.
I just
Moulin
thought.
Rouge is one of those movies where like I so went in, so excited, couldn't wait to see it, and wanted to claw my eyes out middle way.
I just
Why?
don't get that.
What's wrong with
I
your
really
soul?
don't.
Because-
I don't. I mean, I know we've had this argument so many times, and it's kind of the point now that I'm
Yeah.
not even mad at you, and you're not even mad at
Yeah,
me.
I'm not.
And we're just like, I don't get it. I mean, I love that movie so totally. It suffuses my being.
That is a movie
and
that
you
made
are
me
the
go,
exact
"You McGregor."
opposite
I am.
reaction.
I am the
Is he on that list?
Sing.
Is he on the unsafe list too,
He
Allison?
is so in danger. I will raise him.
Ewan, oh yeah.
Oh,
I would like to say here-
you'll have to fight me for Ewan.
I know
Yeah.
this
Ooh, I
isn't.
like
You
that.
will both have to fight me
Let's
for
have
you.
an
Oh my God,
Allison-
that's
I will
wild. Come
kill you all
on.
You
in a
and
dirty
Chris-
alley for that man.
I know this
Damn
isn't
it.
Leon's argument for why he doesn't like it, but there's a lot of people who say, whatever, it's just another song. A lot of songs that are being reused. It's not even original. You guys don't know anything about musicals.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the whole history of musicals, 90% of
songs
it
songs
being
that-
are songs
recycled.
being
Right.
recycled and moved into
and
it.
not only being
Roxanne
recycled, but
Tango?
being shoehorned in.
Currently popular music that's already been released being retooled to fit into a storyline is completely the history of musicals.
I liked it. I mean, I'm not into musicals as a genre in general, but I thought it was interesting to look at. I thought it was beautiful, and I thought it was cool. But I mean, I didn't get like I could watch it again, but I didn't.
You know,
it didn't move me either way. I thought it was good. but-
There is something. I think one of the things that really appealed to me is because, however sophisticated we are, that thing like rammed it down to the simple boy meets girl, and boy meets girl works. But it's hard to make it work, and you know we pile more and more and more and more things onto it to make it relevant in this modern world, and that by virtue of the fact that it was using like cheesy pop songs and using the particular setting that it did and using this like really brilliant visuals that Baz Luhrmann is capable of, to get back to the fact that I don't care. Boy versus girl. I'm into it. Let's go. Fucking A.
I had to do a piece for Hollywood.com that was about the musicals that guys could like, and I listed that on there because I'm like, you know what? When you break it down, imagine Nicole Kidman is a hooker sitting on your lap feeding you magic mushrooms
That's what I'm
while a
talking
chorus
about.
of angels sing the pop songs of the decade. to
I
you.
can live with that.
and shave your scrotum with scented lavender lather.
Why can't I
wearing
have that?
domino mask?
Okay, when you say it
but-
like that,
I think Leon has changed his mind.
But I mean, you think about our lives. When you are pining over a girl, what song do you listen to? You can listen to Roxanne and be like, "Fucking whore, I love you anyway." So, speaking of, that's my favorite part of that movie.
Oh,
is
yeah.
the Roxanne Tango.
And they bring that. They
Wow,
bring.
that-
They
that-
bring
that-
in the
it's
tango.
funny, that is the moment when I
That
thought
is good.
I'm gonna
That's
walk
good.
out of this
See,
thing.
but they
Wow,
they
really?
bring in the tango, which is this incredibly beautiful dance.
Yeah, that's the best music
They
number in
make
the
it
film.
fucking like relevant to the storyline. I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah.
And I
It-
think what
it-
that
it-
movie
it just
did
fucking had me there.
really well was capture that like hunger and all of the chemical stuff that happens when you first.
It
are
did,
falling in love.
and that's the thing, the like when Ewan McGregor's character, when Christian cries at the end, generally when anybody's crying at the end of a movie, I'm like, who's actually a character in the movie, I'm like, okay, it's sad. When he was crying, I was weeping. I mean, it was
It's
just
so-
like, oh my
it's very
god, the
intense.
loss is so palpable because they didn't bring in any kind of like big thing. It was just like, I love you, I want to be with you, I can't be with you, I'm going to do everything that I can be to be with you. And there wasn't any frippery about it other than,
frippery.
great music and incredible visuals.
You're
And
actually more
boom.
gay for not liking Moulin Rouge, is
Yeah,
Bo's
exactly.
argument. How do you feel about that, Leon?
But yeah, definitely.
I'm going to reserve my comments.
I mean,
You're right.
My top 10 easily.
Fair enough.
Go and have fun.
I think it's Allison's turn.
Oh well.
Take a big swig of
Yeah, take a-
alcohol.
I'm
and
sorry.
get
yeah,
shot.
she had to- pretty soon we all won't be safe if she keeps drinking all that.
A little more vodka. And everybody's in danger.
Hey, baby, I made Bottle Rocket.
How wonderful!
Then it's
life
John
is.
Candy and Swedish. Hey, baby, I got a 12-inch penis.
No, really. Last Thursday, I slept with Wes Anderson. I swear it. I mean, I don't remember everything, but I swear.
You saying Wes Anderson roofied you?
No, I was on the vodka. He was the one roofied.
On the vodka? What are you, a grandma? Your grandma?
Let me get another Leon Colada over here, please.
Leon Colada.
I'm just gonna
All right.
say, okay,
Well, he
yes.
knows it. It's all good.
I I have a lot on my list, and a lot from the Master Cyrus list of movies of the decade. But since it hasn't been mentioned and it is one of my all-time favorite movies ever, that's Amelie.
Amelie.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was a good one.
Or Amelie.
Yeah.
Any of the Jeunet and Caro movies.
It's so
actually.
funny that like all their movies are so great.
So good.
But that's their standout.
That's it.
That's the one. Yeah, it's so hard, like, cause like after Delicatessen, you're like, wow, this movie is so good. It's so sad. They'll never make a better movie than this. Then they made City of Lost Children. You go, wow, that movie was so good. It's too bad they'll never make a better movie than that.
And
Now, to be fair,
You've heard
Amelie
the cliche
was,
about, doing something that makes a woman melt. They actually fucking did it.
They melted
did.
her.
Fucking awesome.
it's like a surreal, precious little love story. You
But
know?
don't be scared
for all
by
you
that.
nerds who've got a date coming up, you want to take them home. You want to make them watch Amelie.
Let me just put it this way. My girlfriend and I, Mary, who is considerably younger than me and way too good for me, our first date was Amelie.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Don't-
dudes. If you want to get a girl to sleep with you,
Amelie.
Amelie, and buy any like musical form featuring Django Reinhardt and just play it.
There you go.
By
And you're-
contrast,
and you're good.
I took my first date to Fritz the cat.
Hilarious.
Geeks, if you're out there and you don't want to have a girl
I
sleep
mean,
with
you told me it was the premiere Birth of a Nation.
Oh God, unclean.
But I
Sorry.
would say that I know a lot of guys are scared of Amelie because they're like, oh, it's French and it's a love story. And
I'm
there's
so-
subtitles.
I'm so glad you brought that up because
French
I was
chicks
going to
are
bring it up
hot.
too, but I had the Moulin Rouge thing going and I still wanted to keep the penis. So
Yeah. But
Don't put that on if you want to get
but
laid, by the way.
seriously, it's not a guy unfriendly movie because it's very imaginary and there's lots of cool. If you haven't seen it, if you're one of the weird freak people who live in caves and you haven't seen this movie,
or Wisconsin.
or
It's
Wisconsin,
Wyoming, actually. Wisconsin still has cities.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Wyoming, it is just like a bunch of brush and
pretty much. Yeah.
mountains and
It's just
stuff.
a big square in the middle
It's
of the U.S.
Jeremiah Johnson's descendants, and that's about it.
Where is
leprechauns
it
in there,
though?
too, but-
Wyoming?
Yeah, it's like above Utah.
It's not
or
important.
something.
But your point is that
Yes,
exactly
Amelie.
that. How could you have missed it by now unless maybe you're real new to, like, say, being alive?
Yeah, or movies.
Or movies in general. Like, you've
Or
suddenly
women.
discovered that
Or
you're a big
women.
movie buff. You haven't had a chance to go back and watch all that stuff. That's like on the, wow, you should really, really go out of
Really,
your
but
way
don't be
for that
scared,
one.
boys. It's very
Accessible,
friendly.
yeah.
Accessible.
I actually really like that movie.
It's not a
It's a
chick
good
movie.
movie.
It's an everybody movie, and
Yeah.
it's got such great special effects. And it's not one of those movies where special effects are like beating you over the head with explosions and stuff. It's like very well played.
It's a romantic comedy that is so off the territories. It's so off the standard line for romantic comedies. It doesn't follow. It doesn't even. It's not even. It's miles from the standard formula for
Miles
romantic
from
comedy.
standard.
It's a romantic comedy you can watch with your girlfriend to shut her up, and it doesn't have Sandra Bullock or Meg Ryan in
It's
it.
true.
It has a girl
And
who
when
looks
it's
like.
female.
You'll actually like watch it yourself.
It's a girl that looks like Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
I was gonna say
Adorable.
that's all you need right there. Just
I'll
look at,
see
just watch
tattoo.
the movie. That's some
Yeah,
good.
Audrey
That's a
Tautou, really, that's all you need.
that's a
Wow.
great movie because you can sit with your girlfriend, your wife, and watch the movie, watching a hot chick, and have her go, "This is a really good movie," and you're like,
You're like,
"Yeah,
yeah,
this is
shut
good."
up.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
Shh, wait, let's
What do you got
shush.
next? What's next on your
Oh.
list?
Shoot, I have a whole bunch. I'll have to say Casino Royale, just because as a Bond
because she loves
fan,
the nut torture.
It's another guy.
Loves the nut torture.
Is
You
it
should
another
see-
guy who's not safe?
All.
You should
No.
see Serpent in
No.
the
Daniel
Rainbow.
Craig.
Daniel Craig's not safe.
watch
Jason
He-
Statham's not. I'm trying to keep a
No.
list for
So
you.
Stop.
in danger.
Who's in danger?
If I
Greg,
get-
you're not safe, so you better
That's
watch
okay.
it.
That's
If I
a
get,
list I
like-
could be on.
Hey,
It's
why did you
okay.
put Greg in the wicker chair? Oh.
Of
course, now
Yeah,
everybody's
never
gonna know
mind.
you died scratching his balls.
All right.
It's true though. I am a big fan of the whole Bond genre, and I love all the Bond movies. And so this to me, when they said they were coming out with a whole new Bond and it was going to be a little different, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
right, Pierce Brosnan, whatever. I've been burned by you before. But But no, Casino Royale was a whole different kind of Bond that was like, yes, it was still Bond, but it was like now and it was today. And
Well, the
it was
opening
done
scene is
well, and
great.
It was very similar to the books,
Well, they
which I
managed,
read.
they managed to update it with stuff like the parkour opening scene
Right.
and stuff like
Yes.
that, and yet it is almost exactly the book as far as the original book, as far as the plot. It is
you very
the
much.
only other James Bond film other than Dr. No
Dr.
that
No.
features Bond as he was written, as a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bond
You
is
know.
a dick. It just is a
That's what
murdering dick.
everybody tries to get away from. It's like, oh, we need to make him more romantic. We need to make him more this. No, Bond is a cold-blooded dick fucking philanderer murderer.
Yeah, he's the
And that's why he's cool.
And this is his origin story,
Yeah.
and that's why it's so interesting, because it's like, here's a guy who went into this like he was a badass already, but he had yet to get to that higher tier, that license to kill.
He
so
was
this
Jack
starts
Bauer.
with him
It doesn't
just
before
getting
Jack
that.
Bauer.
They don't even play the Bond theme until the very end of the movie
Right.
when he finally delivers the classic
great line.
line. The name's Bond. James Bond.
And
Because that's when he becomes a man.
that's why I liked it, because it was so similar to the books, and it was gritty, and it was Dr. No. Yes, right on.
What's the next one on your list?
Oh, shit.
That was a Smith & Wesson. It only has 7 bullets. And you've used yours.
Yeah.
I know what you're asking yourself.
Allison.
I know I know what you're asking yourself. This sonic screwdriver is only powered for 3 hours. And I've been using it for 2, or is it 3?
How do you feel lucky,
Locked
Pop?
out for a while there in the
Feel
bathroom.
lucky there, mate.
But really, the one question you need to ask yourself is, does he know where you keep your bullets?
Yeah. What is next?
I'm a big fan of, well, I'll just read my list, and then you guys can discuss.
You
what
read your
think
list
is
and then
interesting.
think in your head about what you want to discuss, but read through your list.
Oh, I'll say Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as a fan of the martial arts movies. High Fidelity as a fan of John Cusack. The Royal
Cusack must
Tenenbaums,
die.
Amelie, Spirited Away, Kill Bill. Kung Fu Hustle, which I
Yeah.
think is sort of the, like, if you like Pulp Fiction and you like martial arts movies, wow.
That's
Merry Christmas.
If we were just doing comedy movies, that would definitely be top 5.
Combine
So
those
good.
together with a little touch of maybe early Airplane type
Yeah.
stuff, like that type of humor,
Yeah.
like just a little bit of that, like a drop of that
It's
thrown
just
into the
where it's
mix.
appropriate.
Yeah. And where
Yeah,
it's
by the
appropriate.
way, young directors out there, watch Kung Fu Hustle. If you can't mind that for a good idea, then please don't inflict yourself upon
Then
us.
please just become a DMV worker and
Yes,
spare us.
there
And by the way,
from
if
your-
you don't get surreal physical comedy, just skip it. I had some people come into the bar once where a whole bar of people were laughing their asses off watching Kung Fu Hustle. And this one guy sat there going, "This is the worst movie I've ever seen." And I was like, "I'm sorry." What? And he wouldn't shut up. He's being loud about it while everyone else having a good time.
And by the way, never ever say that this is the worst movie I've ever seen, because the only answer
We
to
can
that,
show you that.
the only answer to that is
Transformers two.
really, and that will be followed up by showing that you have no idea what you're.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
point is
and
you're missing the
this
point.
crew,
And
it's like summoning Pinhead. Oh, I've got such things to show you.
Oh, I just wanted to apologize for doing that. I'm really sorry.
For what? For being that guy? That's all. See, the thing is, as you were reading your
no.
list, I'm like, I think Leon hates every movie on your list,
my
and
God,
I
God.
love every
I
single
don't
one of
hate
them.
every movie on her list, but they're far from my list.
Are you
And
starting to
then-
understand how wrong you are now, though?
Casino Royale and then Visioneers, which I think is one that
Oh,
I'll talk
see,
about
I
because
still
I
haven't
don't think
watched that
anybody
yet.
will
I
talk
haven't either.
about
I
it.
haven't.
Stay
Yeah, me
stay
too.
tuned in for the Spill Crew Best of the Decade episode, where far less intelligent people won't be available to tell Leon how gay he is.
So what is Visioneers? Because I know it's got
Yeah,
Zach
I don't- I've never
Galifianakis,
heard of that
but
movie,
that's all I
actually,
know
so-
about it.
Okay, so take the things that you liked about the remake of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Take the things.
There was
Absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
That I can barely remember it.
Okay, but I mean,
Can I take the things I like about Funyuns?
yes.
Because I love Fun. No. What are you laughing? No, I love. No. That,
What's wrong with my
what's wrong with Funyuns?
ripstop tracksuit? I think it's cool and yet
you're
comfortable,
wrong.
and I can run.
It's cool. It's comfortable. I can run.
I love Zach.
The
Zachty.
last time I
Identify
saw
the only
Zach
people who've actually seen this movie.
was
No,
that
that's just Zach Galifianakis.
the only thing
comedy.
we've got is that Fuji song.
Yeah, it's,
Y'all all know
So
him from
good.
The Hangover. You saw him in there as the
He's-
real
he's in
man-child of that
everything.
film.
Well, you see,
Well, what-
yeah.
Zach
Gorgeous
Galifianakis, live at the Purple Lounge. Watch the extras. Fucking awesome.
Fucking hilarious.
But he's the main star, right?
He's
in
the
this?
main star, and you think it's gonna be some kind of crazy goofball Zach Galifianakis movie, and it's not.
Because actually, Zach Galifianakis, not crazy and goofball at all.
No, he
He's
plays
not.
this very amazingly straight character through most of it, and when he just lets that goofball, those moments shine through, you're like, oh my god, he's such a great actor.
What's
and
the story,
movie,
though?
The story is very absurd.
matter.
The story is very absurd. It's very
It looked kind of
Terry
Office
Gilliam.
Space-ish from when because it was playing at the bar, like they were doing
Oh,
a premiere
God, I
screening.
remember
of it.
that.
It's like
You were there.
Office Space if the
Directed
Dave
by-
Carell character was one of the like minor Dukes of Hell.
Okay.
And if it were directed by Terry Gilliam.
Yeah,
Like,
Okay.
it's
all mixed
very...
Yeah.
No.
Office Space.
Why don't we just have to
The
watch it? Cause I'm
Office,
getting
okay.
I'm getting very confused.
Terry Gilliam's Office Space.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
yeah.
That's the descriptor of the movie. And it's got like parts of it that you're like, what is this even doing here? But it's an amazing movie, and he's an amazing actor,
Yeah.
and I'm super impressed.
Imagine if Terry Gilliam did Brazil,
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna
but
have-
it was all about the office that the main character worked in,
Mm-hmm.
and it was staffed by the people from the British office.
Okay, I'm gonna have
But
to be
they were all
honest.
American.
Now that you've talked about it, and now that Cyrus has mentioned this, I've seen that when they were airing it at your bar, and I have to admit there were parts of that movie I was watching going, when did they film The Wicker Man in South California?
It has some bits in the middle where you're totally disoriented.
I
But
couldn't
that's
tell-
part of the movie.
I was working, so I couldn't really pay attention. But every once in a while, I'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's trippy.
Now, I have the
Trippy movie.
screener. It was just one of those things. Like nobody was asking me about it. Nobody was promoting it. I was like, "Okay, well, maybe I'll find the time to watch it at some point." But
I saw it out of like I was watching Netflix and I was just like, oh, this looks neat. Crazy blew my mind.
wow. Okay, well, maybe I'll make a
Yeah,
point.
I get-
Yeah. Special visionary screening later.
Right.
Yeah. Harris, what do you got for us? What's on your list?
Well, this is what I get. For
Long live the oh, sorry.
That's Jason's joke.
He wasn't here. And
Well, this is what I get for going last. But the first one that's going to be on the list is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I full applause there because
Yes.
that is like
Absolutely.
Wow.
One of the
Yeah.
most
All you
underrated
guys who
and
loved,
best fucking
who loved
movies.
Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is the movie that reminded people. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's
That's
funny.
right.
He can act.
Yeah, and it's not
Yes.
just that. It's the script
Val
by
Kilmer,
Shane Black,
too.
who is maybe the best guy who ever wrote buddy action films.
It's also his first directing movie.
Yes.
It's his directing debut, where he's like, you know him from Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, The Long Kiss Goodnight. You know, all those movies you love from the 80s and the 90s, and now finally he's got himself behind the camera. He's the director, and he's made a movie that's film noir in LA, but at the same time, it's both a love note and a deconstruction of film noir.
I really do agree with you. I think that the people watching this is the reason that Robert Downey got Iron Man.
I think so,
because,
too, yeah.
Because before this, they were like, oh yeah, he did Chaplin, but he's a drug-addled idiot. And yeah, no, this is the thing. They were
Right.
like, oh, okay, all right, he can play well with others. Right on, we'll give him a chance.
It's such a shame that Val Kilmer couldn't swing out of his downward spiral because he's
Yeah,
so
he's-
great
Wait,
in this
did he
movie.
do that before or after Spartan?
And Michelle,
he did it after Spartan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it after
Michelle
Spartan? I couldn't say-
Monaghan,
okay.
let us not.
Oh,
forget.
right.
And
Yeah.
you get to see her.
Yeah.
Got to see Michelle Monaghan boobs. I'm just
What
saying.
little there
Yes.
is.
Well,
She
worth
is
it.
not safe from Cyrus.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't say that, right? She can say it and it's cute.
Yeah.
For me,
No,
it's like
Mary's,
restraining
Mary's
order.
asleep.
She's not-
Oh well, yeah. Oh, you're
Plus
talking
you're a
about.
man.
You're
But
talking.
a man,
totally
she's not
different.
safe for
It's not
me.
okay to say, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, that just
Well,
kind of sounds
fuck.
like you're making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's got roofies.
Which I could use if anybody knows the sweet hookup.
Oh, they're already some in your glass. You had like 6. How are you still standing?
I'm roofie intolerant.
The other movie that I'm going to have to mention, just because it's like the director followed me around the summer of '95 and just filmed my life, was 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, love that movie.
Like, especially, this movie needs to be required viewing for nerds. Guys, this is a movie where if you haven't had this experience...
Stop it.
Yeah, this is a textbook of what not to do. If you find a girl who tells you that, okay, listen, we can hook up, we can kind of have a semi-romantic relationship, but I'm emotionally unavailable, you believe that shit.
You've won the game. Stop playing.
Seriously, when somebody says, like, you don't want to get with me, I'm trouble. Don't go like,
No.
no. Believe them. Why would they lie to you?
You've already reached the last red square on Candyland. Don't go into the Peppermint Forest. What's wrong with you?
Tagged the unbelievably hot chick who says to you, I just want to stay friends and have sex. What's wrong with you? Why do you need to take that somewhere else?
Because there's always that, like, no, I want to lock this down and have
Yeah,
that
so
way.
much of that movie
It just
is
does
me
not
watching
work.
it going, dude, don't do that. I've been there.
Just
I walked in
remember,
your shoes.
Every time you fucking nail a hot chick who is willing to just have sex with you, and then you bring her flowers, you make me cry.
You know that
You kill a
The
part
thing-
of my soul.
I haven't seen the movie yet, but just your description of it it sounds like a whole movie based on that phone call that he made in Swingers after the date. Which
it
made
is
me
that.
put my head through
Honestly,
the wall.
yeah, no,
Seriously.
there's so many moments like that. In the
you're
movie.
like,
I love this movie, and I almost got up and walked out of it just because of how painful
It
it
is
was.
too
Yeah.
goddamn familiar. I could track every moment of that movie with moments of
I've
my
never
life.
done that.
It may be the only romantic comedy in history directed at guys and guys only. It really is. It's
Yeah.
And the only
pointed
thing-
directly at dudes to go, don't do this. We know. We've been there. It's okay. We're not telling you you're an asshole, except you are an asshole.
The only part of it.
It's,
the
you
only
are
part
the
of it
villain
was
of
Zooey
that
Deschanel.
movie is the male audience member sitting there going, oh, fuck.
Nah, this sounds like a dream to me.
No,
This-
no, no.
A hot
The
chick
only-
who's supposed to have sex?
The only part of
That's
it.
all I ever had.
Was like Zooey Deschanel, you fucking bitch, is towards the end of the movie. I'm sorry. I'm going to spoil it, but
Well, no,
No, please don't.
No, you're
Please
the
don't.
first one here to call me the spoiler, so please continue.
Yeah, that's true. You were the guy who called him out
I'm
on
going
that.
to ruin this
but-
one just because, like, so many of us have lived through this shit.
No, please don't.
Ladies.
Please don't spoil anything in this movie.
Okay.
Because this movie is so good.
and it's
you should
still new.
You should really just experience it.
Now-
It's non-linear. It's told out of the format of like, you know, the way you expect to see a movie.
way you
In fact,
remember
it's
things.
500 Days of Summer. It's like somebody has like a randomizer, like tick 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 day 34, and it just randomly goes back and
Okay.
forth like that. Except it's not random.
Full
And
disclosure, that's all I'm saying.
It's fully accessible. You can watch this film as anybody who's ever been in a long relationship and find something to identify with at any point of this period of time and know in seconds exactly what portion of the relationship in the story you're in.
And it hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts so much.
But-
I crawled out of that movie going, oh, God, I had to go through that again.
Like the first time you saw Last American Virgin. The ending.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the most painful
That was-
endings
that
I've
was the
ever
other
seen in a
movie it
movie.
reminded me of.
I'm like, oh my god, this is just
It's
devastating.
surreal and it's funny. It's got dream sequences. The only thing I regret is there's a deleted scene on the Blu-ray that's like, all right, so in the movie there's a big scene where like he's so happy, he's at that high, I'm so in love. You know, he's one of those guys like, love, it's the most wonderful thing in the world.
All of a
He
sudden,
watches,
he's walking through a musical. He looks in the window. Han Solo's looking back, and he winks at him.
he watches too many movies, basically. I think we all know what that's like. And there was a deleted scene that was the reverse when he hits his low, that it was like a repeat of that whole sequence, except everyone there is like going, dick.
What's the matter? You couldn't keep the hot chick, pussy.
Anyway, what's next on your list?
The next on my list, one that I'm kind of surprised hasn't come up yet, considering all the others that I got mentioned. The Dark Knight.
Well,
I
Bo,
thought that was
I thought
too
Bo
obvious.
I assume
said
everybody
it.
was saving that.
Everyone kind of brushed over that one, but let's face it, that was the movie that took the superhero film and said, hey, what would happen if we took Batman and dropped him into the middle of Seven?
Yeah.
It's the movie I always said, like, when they start making superhero movies, I'm like, why can't they just do this? Why can't they just make a crime film that has a superhero as
Right.
the protagonist?
Which is what that was.
Which is what it was.
Yeah, that is
And,
exactly what it
I mean,
is.
when you consider, like, the audience it got, the money it made, how rewatchable
The
it is.
records it broke.
Well, hell, watch what's been happening in comics right now. You know, I mean, it's all crime stuff. Hell, one of the most popular comics right now was started by Ed Brubaker, based in the Batman universe, the Gotham Knights book, which is just a book that does nothing to do with Batman. It just takes place in Gotham about the police force
Oh,
solving
yeah,
Gotham Central, yeah,
solving
Gotham
Gotham Central,
Wow. Yeah.
solving murders and stuff. This is the type of film that you're going to see. This is the type of thing you're going to see more films like.
Game
like
changer.
it's a superhero universe in a noirish, dark. Like this is the real world that
right.
just happens to have superheroes.
I
in
mean,
it.
really,
much as I
whether
love
it's your
Jack
favorite
Nicholson.
film or not, I might say it is the film of the decade just because of everything
Yeah,
we just named.
Wow.
And like much as I love Jack Nicholson's portrayal of the Joker, yeah, it's not until Heath Ledger gets a hold of him that you realize why everybody's afraid of this guy. I mean, he's not the happy Cesar Romero looking dude who's, kind of charming in a psychopathic kind of way. No, he's the crazy looking homeless dude who smells like feet.
No.
Well,
I just recently rewatched that
Yeah.
Batman movie from
Mustache
1966. No, there was nothing. That movie is unwatchable. Even from a campy point of view, it's unwatchable.
Greg, you're so wrong. You really don't understand that movie. That's why I tweeted.
Wait, I
back
don't
to you.
understand
You
what-
really don't because I've watched that movie. I own it and I watch it and it's hilarious.
Wait, did I not tweet back saying, what don't I understand about the Navy selling a submarine to a guy with a P.O. box?
Seriously,
it's
when people talk
ridiculous.
about camp, that is the
Yeah.
very definition of that
Well,
movie.
and again, because I want us to have a seduction of the innocent Leog, but that happened because of the censorship that destroyed comics during that time. So Batman couldn't be dark anymore. It had to be zany and for kids, and that is the
But
quintessential example of what Dr. Worth
and you have to understand that
Yeah.
Batman was a comedy. They sold it as a comedy, and it was a comedy for adults. In fact,
Yeah,
they
no.
always intended it to be like a look how dumb this is, and this funny,
My wife's
like the
sister
Naked
loves
Gun
that.
or
Yeah.
something like, or
I
a
just-
Police Squad, something like that.
I guess
you know?
I just because when I watched it when I was a kid, I liked it. But then I look back at it, I was like, I can't. What?
That's funny
I
because
just
as a
can't
kid,
get into
Some days you
I
just can't get rid
watched
of a
it,
bomb.
and I enjoyed it because it was the only superhero thing on. But I was
Yeah.
infuriated that they made Batman such a clown.
The
It wasn't
only-
until I was older I was like, oh wait, this is totally on purpose.
The only reason I wanted my family to get cable back in the late 70s was so I could watch Batman reruns. And I was very young. I did not, get the nuances that Leon did. I absolutely love it. And I remember you posted just like Cesar Romero.
Well, that was terrible.
You've got a mustache,
But I mean,
shave it off.
But it was so bad.
that was what was funny about it. And Kristen's right. That line, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That is classic.
Well, my favorite moment, of course, is that intentionally terrible clip with the rubber shark
Yes.
that comes up
Yes.
and grabs
The bat
onto
was
him.
just
The bat
the
shark.
pilot.
Well,
propellant.
the entire series is like that,
But
but you've got to give it this.
Okay.
It was one of the first
I love that we're talking about a
It-
movie
it
that
was
came out
the- it was the
in
one of the
2008.
first,
We're
like,
now talking about a 1970s film.
Yeah.
It was one of the first. It was
66.
one of the first mainstream superhero things, and it was designed to appeal to two different people. It was designed to appeal to adults on a comedy level, and it was designed to appeal to children on a cool level.
Okay. Next
And
time I'll watch
it succeeded.
I will watch it with that head.
Don't
on.
take it too
Yeah,
seriously.
and
Because I was watching it as
Yeah.
I saw this as a kid.
What
When I was a
you
kid.
got to
Yeah.
watch it as put on your Nehru jacket, pretend you're 25 years old in 1967, and
And have
it's
a few
fucking
drinks, too.
hilarious.
And-
And it's supposed
I was totally
and
sober
and
when
it's
I did.
supposed to be.
And
It
Greg,
is
to be
absolutely
fair,
supposed to be.
I can't go back and watch it now. I tried a couple years ago. I was like, you know what? This was funny when I was like 18 or 19 years old, and now it's just like, there are too many movies like this that are better. It's just not that
I
funny.
just
Years ago,
man,
and I still loved it.
I watched it just a little while ago. The series where it's Robin Dick Grayson in his ward role with Adam West doing Bruce Wayne, and he's like, gosh darn it, Bruce, I just wonder, conjugating these French sentences is just so hard. And he's like, Robin, you don't understand. The point of learning languages is so that we can all speak universally, and if we could all speak universally, then we would have no problems. And he's just, You're right, Bruce. I was a fool for thinking that was wrong. And my God, that's fucking hilarious.
I'd rather watch.
Fucking hilarious.
That was
I'd
what you're
rather watch you
expecting
do the
Greg
whole-
to do right now.
Yeah.
You're right, Bo.
Bo,
I was a fool for
you're
thinking
right.
that this was.
I'm such a fool.
It is
The last two
dragging
things I
this
would
very
say about
firmly,
that
kicking and
movie-
screaming back to the movie.
Yeah. Well, wait.
I actually gotta agree with Harris
Yeah,
on
I'm
this
sorry.
one. We
I
need to
just-
move on
go ahead,
this.
move on.
I mean,
We
We have
time
reached
vortex
we have
there.
reached the point that The Dark Knight is one of the best movies ever made. This
one
decade.
of for me the moment that is the ultimate game changer, the part that says this is not going to be the happy jokey Joker, you know, the guy who's going to make a little laugh, do a little dance to some Prince, then
Make a
Joker
little
gas
love.
you, is hey, who wants to see a magic trick?
Yeah,
Slam!
Yeah, that's
Point
that
where you're
moment.
That was
oh,
great.
this is
That's
a different kind of movie.
The moment in the film that you realize that this isn't going to be just another superhero film. This isn't just another Batman film. This is a hardcore crime film.
It's
Your
when
sister daddy's
it's
Batman.
I would say even before that, the bank robbery scene. I mean,
Bank robbery scene-
You understand that he's evil, but it's not like
yeah,
anything
it's,
that's...
he doesn't have the sense of menace that he has. As soon as he grabs a random dude by the back of his head, slams his eye into a pencil.
He becomes interesting during the
Yeah,
robbery.
it's-
He becomes terrifying.
It's really
during
yeah.
the pencil scene.
For me, it's not even that. It really it's the when he is in the pool hall, and he's pulled his little heist where the
Oh, yeah.
black crime lord is like, and he's like, let me tell you a little bit about my father.
Why's he got to be a black crime lord, though?
Because
that's the character.
that was a guy that fucked with me. And let me tell you something a little bit about that black crime lord is that I looked at Leon, who was sitting next to me, and we both peed our pants so fucking hard that it wet the people in the row in front of us, and we were sitting in an IMAX fucking theater.
We did see that in Sherlock
Yeah.
Holmes together, which was perfect to me.
Yeah, I saw that. That was one of the only movies I've ever gone to where I saw it in the IMAX theater, and nobody said a word, and nobody left.
No,
Nobody said a word, and nobody left the whole.
The scenes
movie.
that they filmed specifically for the IMAX release were fucking gorgeous.
Oh man, I got sick. I mean, it just when he's on the buildings and stuff, I'm like, oh my god, where am I still sitting in this damn chair?
What I appreciate about the pencil scene was they showed just enough without showing you too much.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, thank you for letting me fill the gaps in, because that's better, and not making it a gore film. I'm like, they didn't bloody it up. They just made you go, oh.
One
God."
thing that I will point out about that is, afterwards, I can come up with reasons that doesn't work. I can come up with reasons that The Dark Knight doesn't acknowledge canon here and canon there. Guess what? I can't remember when I watched the fucking Dark Knight any of those fucking arguments, because they fucking disappear into the thin air, because you're like, that's the Joker, that's the fucking Batman. You know what? That's still fucking Two-Face, and fuck you.
And the thing was, like, Jack Nicholson worked at that time compared to what we had before.
Right.
But go back and watch him now. He's like your drunk uncle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Well, and even he
he's done
came
the
up
bad
and said,
parts to be
even
sure, but-
he has come out and said it. Yeah, I mean, even Jack Nicholson has been quoted off the record as going, whoa.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Fuck.
They're two very, very different takes on Batman.
Yeah.
And it's
Two
not
different movies.
condemning Tim Burton's Batman to say that this one is a better film. Tim Burton's Batman, I have issues with it, to be sure, but it's not a terrible movie. I own it on Blu-ray. I'm glad to own it on Blu-ray. I've watched it twice since I got it
Yeah,
on Blu-ray.
it's a great fucking
But
flick.
The Dark Knight is one of the definitive takes on superheroes. It takes them and puts them in the real world, and it makes it a scary experience.
The Dark
to be
Knight,
there.
you can go into the Dark Knight, rub off all the fucking makeup, take the bat ears off, take the bat symbol off, change Commissioner Gordon's name to Commissioner Ryan, and it is still
And it's
one
an-
of the most fucking incredible movies
And it's an
made this
episode of
decade.
it's an issue of Playgirl with Commissioner Ryan sitting there.
Yes.
Well, even more so than Watchmen, this is a movie that deconstructed the superheroes and go, yeah, the people who dress up in these outfits and go beat the shit out of criminals with their bare hands, they're not fucking normal.
the thing
These
about-
are not
Scary.
well-adjusted individuals.
But I think the thing about Batman, for a lot of people who maybe not read the comics and knew Batman from the TV show or from pop culture, it was more effective than Watchmen because, well, it's a better movie, but also just it's a guy you kind of thought you knew, but then you see this Batman as this really kind of fucked up. vigilante guy, you know?
Exactly. It's because it is as if like Thomas Pynchon came around in BC 500 and wrote a Hercules novel.
The other thing,
because that's what it is. You know, it's
Dennis Miller, ladies and
somebody.
the other thing I do have to say to that-
somebody took like this point that we can all focus on. We all know who Batman is, despite our multiple interpretations of the character. We can all agree on that. We all know the Joker is. We can all agree on that, despite our multiple interpretations, and took something that made us go, "Oh, holy crap! This is
The light is
fucking."
softly shining.
Yes.
The other thing I'm going to
This
say
is
about
the
Batman is
Bat.
that it is a samurai movie. Every time
Yeah.
that Batman makes a choice for himself, when he decides that he's going to turn himself in because he's going to be selfish about it, when he decides to let Harvey Dent turn himself in instead, when he decides to go for Rachel, every time he chooses his selfish desires over the desires of his lord, which is to say Gotham City, he's punished for it.
I
This
believe you
movie-
mean a Kurosawa movie, but yes. I will
Yeah,
agree
this
with
movie is very much a movie about a samurai trying to choose between his duty and his personal life, and he's punished every time he chooses against
That's a
his
great
duty.
line by the Joker too, and he's like, you know,
When he says-
when you let Dent take it, even I thought that was kind of cold. That was a great line. I mean, I watched it so many times that I watch it the Spanish dub version just because I'm like, and then that's when who was it? It was Antonio actually. Because I posted it and it.
No, we're editing that out. Anyway.
Oh,
No, come on.
No,
Like
wait,
the-
let me finish it. No, I was watching it, and obviously the only thing about the Batman movies that we all can agree on is really, you know, the voice that he takes on to do Batman is kind of weird, to say the least. You know, that kind of growling
well, as
thing
far
and-
as aggravating, yes.
Not the best choice.
No, but then I watched the Spanish.
a Ricola?
Right, but then I watched the Spanish version, and the guy who does that is great. And then I found out that it's the same. That's Antonio told me. It was the same guy who does the Spanish version for the animated series.
Yeah.
That gives it more of a. So I was watching it, and I was listening. I was like, wow, because if you watch it and you listen to it, it gives you. He has that take on it that's just really it's really good.
All I will say is that scene of the semi going up, that
He missed.
is right up there with. I mean, it's like just one of the like fucking most arresting sounds in film. that I've
Well,
ever
I
heard.
also think that scene, like, no matter how many times you watch it, that scene when he drives the bat pod up the wall and spins it
it's
around.
just cool.
Yeah. You get
Was
a
one
tingle.
jaw-dropping moments where you go, okay, even in the comics, I don't think Batman ever did anything that cool.
Right.
You know,
And
I was-
that scene's just exhausting.
when I was driving around Chicago for my
Oh,
had
yeah.
a car. Yeah, we were driving around during those the tunnels they shot that
Oh, really?
through, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's so cool.
That's awesome.
I
So
think
I'm starting to. I just want to say real quick. I'm starting to
we are at
realize
2
that this
hours,
is going to
dude.
be the movie episode of Leon
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
best of the
yeah,
year,
yeah,
time
yeah.
which was
Yeah.
obviously going to take the longest anyway, because I mean that's our biggest. I think for all of us that's our biggest thing. So I think that we will. Well, I'm not ending this yet. I'm just warning you that our next episode will also be a best
going
of
to
the
keep it
decade
recording for a little
episode.
Well, can I make a suggestion with that?
Yeah.
I would think.
No,
that,
you may not.
I would think that, or the categories that are left, that maybe the comics one should be a separate one by itself.
I
Well-
think TV and comics is going to be next.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might need a whole nother episode just
That's
for
what I'm
TV.
saying. Or an episode for the comics too. That's
But I'm
pretty-
thinking that if we like tail end this, because we started, we're at about an hour and 40 minutes right now, I believe, or hour and not quite that much. But
By Carlisle time, this is over.
yeah, by Carlisle time is over. But I think maybe we should do music, because I know there's not as much for everybody to say
Exactly.
about
Oh,
music
yeah,
for
four
the
things.
thing after
Yeah,
that. But let's
that's
give, you know what? Let's move on to Dark Knight, and I'm going to give you. I know you had a longer list than that. Did you have one more thing you wanted to talk about?
The last one I would bring up would have to be Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, that's a good
Okay.
choice.
You
I'm
know what?
surprised.
That's an obvious one that none of us should talk about.
Well,
not
it's
bad.
so recent, and a lot
Yeah.
of us hadn't had time to. A lot of people still haven't seen it yet, for God's sakes.
What?
If
But
you haven't seen it, then you're
Allison
a
and
horrible,
Kristen haven't
So
It's the
beautiful.
best movie. I mean,
So beautiful,
Oh,
such great
lovely.
dialogue,
Yes.
such a soap opera,
Yeah.
and a bit of a disappointment.
really, that was your take on it?
Yeah.
I thought it was a fantastic film, and it was in my top 10 for last
You
year.
know what?
Uh-oh.
It would have been, and if I had a believable like female character that they treated so well in the first part of the movie, and then we're just like, oh, and now she just needs to get a kiss, and that's all she needs. Yeah, I would have liked it, but sorry, it just lost it on me.
It's weird.
in
I
a
find
lot of
myself in
ways-
some kind of odd limbo between you guys. In as much as I recognize this is a great movie, and yet for whatever reason I haven't been able to identify, it didn't emotionally connect with me all that well. And some of it is some of the things that Bo brought up, but I honestly I don't know what it was. It was like watching it going like, wow, I think this is good, and yet it's not.
I really care about like until they start taking the train out of there and they go their separate ways. Those three folks. I'm totally into it. And then it's just like, oh, and then one of you becomes poor and one of you becomes a whore.
Well, hold on.
And
more
then one of you
connected to it.
disappears. I'm like, who cares?
Well,
I was
hold
more
on,
connected to it when they were kids than I was when they grew up.
I agree with that,
Exactly,
but
as you should
I
be.
want to hear about Harris. This is on Harris' list. I want to see
Yeah.
what his reasons
Yeah.
are why he loves this.
One of the things I loved about it is, in a lot of ways, it's the spiritual successor to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The same way that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was the movie that introduced a lot of Westerners to the Wuxia film or the Kung Fu soap opera.
Right.
Slumdog Millionaire was the movie that made everybody sit up and go, oh, Bollywood films are kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it had to be done through someone who had more of a Western.
And by the way, they're not because they can't kiss.
In the same way that like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was just sort of like a collection, almost of cliches, excellently done cliches, I have to give it, but cliches from Chinese kung fu movies. It's the same way that, with the exception of until the very end when they do the dance number over the credits with Jai Ho, which was an awesome song, by the way.
Yeah, that was pretty cool moment there.
It was every cliche Bollywood film done, but no one in the West has seen them before, so it's brand new to us. And really, until the very end, where they kiss, which you can't do in a Bollywood film, which is
Right.
considered like racy as hell.
Yeah.
It is by the numbers, Bollywood, and it is a real an eye opener to folks who've never experienced this form of cinema before.
Hey, you know what? That's why I think it's so. I mean, everybody here is a educated film buff, film. You know, so like you're saying, a lot of those things were known to people who know cinema, but they do it in a kind of a popular way to bring it out so other people can kind of get in on what's cool about it. I think that in itself is why I think the film worked. And that's what worked for me, because I never really watched the Bollywood movie before.
Yeah,
that.
and the other thing, because there are a lot of people who've complained about this, it's a fairy tale. There's they never hide the fact that it is a fairy tale.
Right.
But for the same reason, that's why it resonates so well. I mean, towards the end, you're begging for them to look across that train yard and see each other.
No, that's true. It is completely one, and it's I think the moments that are like dirty and ugly make it shocking. But you know what? Go back and watch Snow White or something. There's some freaky shit in the earliest fairy tales.
Exactly.
Read the original Grimm's fairy
Yep.
tales.
Oh,
That's some
Grimm.
fucked up
Yeah.
shit. And this is not, it's just not cleaned up for little kids fairy tale. And that's exactly what it is. I think you nailed it in saying that this is indeed a fairy tale.
You know, it's
Because
funny.
I disagree. I think falling into
Really?
a
You have something to say, bro?
I do. I really think that I don't know. I'm going out on a limb here and saying that falling into a pool of shit
Yeah, well,
is not really with the fairy tale climb.
And I will agree that was the one moment
Okay.
I went,
I
What
know
the hell
there are
was
lots of
that?
moments. The one where he's being
That was
interviewed by the chief of police
Yeah.
and being threatened with being incarcerated might take that away from the fairy tale mode.
But in an
the
American
thing is,
sense.
one of my best friends in the whole world lived in Bangalore, India for 3 years.
and
he came
now
back-
he's dead.
And he fell into a pool of shit and was interviewed by police.
he came back and saw Slumdog Millionaire. I swear to God, he's like, well, that's fine if you look at the Epcot Center of India.
Exactly. No,
I mean,
yeah.
He was like, that's like
Yeah.
India. He said that was like Disneyland compared to what India is really like.
It was. It was India, directed by an English guy, yeah, it was the fairy tale version, and you know, it's weird because you can't fault it for being like Bollywood, because it's nothing like Bollywood, because Bollywood is all fantasy.
Did you really hate this film? I can't figure out why you would hate it. Like, it sounds like you hate it, and I cannot figure out why anyone would.
I don't hate it.
Don't think
I was just like, when it won the best Oscar, Best Picture Oscar, I was like, really? Okay.
You know more than anyone to not take the Oscars seriously at all on that level, or let it affect your opinion of the film.
You're absolutely
That is not even an argument.
you're
Come on.
absolutely right,
Like
but
the scene when
you
Kirk and Spock had to fight,
Yeah.
and Kirk had to provoke him, and you have the
Dun,
gall
dun, dun,
to
dun,
say you
dun,
love
dun,
that girl.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. That was
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have triggered your Jean Parr,
That was awesome. That was awesome.
but
No.
yeah, it's just like, you know,
Pun
I'm not saying that. I'm just being like, you know, as far as even being Danny Boyle's best, not even fucking close. Danny Boyle's directed like, you know,
Trainspotting is his
five,
best.
at least,
Yeah, Trainspotting.
at least 5 films that are way better than that. And I'm just like, you know, it does seem there's a little bit of like, oh, he went into this little ethnic community and he showed them a little fairy tale of them falling into the shite. And oh, then he found his girlfriend after so many years.
And
it's like,
miraculously,
oh,
that
did they-
also
did
describes
they-
my Big Fat
yeah.
Creek wedding.
Did they find a yes, which also sucked. Yeah, it's just, oh well, did they find a pot of gold on the train that they were waiting for? I'm just wondering, because it seems to be a bit of a myth with it. And it would be great if they kissed at the very end, and then the Indian gangsters, which no doubt run that fucking country, came up and said, oh, well, you found me, daughter, and now I'm going to fucking rip you apart with fucking camels.
Wait, why does everyone in India have an Irish accent?
Yeah.
Where the hell did the camp
Boy.
Because I was looking to be exotic.
Because that's his one accent.
I'm sorry.
Why does
We're going to
everybody-
put you into the Indian Sea and have you pulled apart by octopusi.
And now Bo's impression of El
now,
Mariachi.
and now Kristen hates me.
Why does everybody in his movies fall into poo at some point?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
that.
that's
Why-
true.
Why is that
Poo.
gonna be like a theme of your
He
film?
does, yeah. Trainspotting is a
At
great movie,
moments.
but like the part of that I had to like see it again
Because
to get
Negroes
past
can't have
was
toilets.
him swimming in a
That's
toilet. I was
why,
like, that was
Greg.
that thing that almost made me leave the theater. I was like, dude, that guy is climbing into a
My
filthy
date
toilet.
almost threw up in the
I don't want to see that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but for some reason you're right. He wants to do poo, and that's no. You know what? The part.
But he
the
doesn't. He used to be perfectly satisfied with murdering people and putting them in between the floorboards of Scottish flats. And that wasn't good enough
It's
for him.
funny as fuck because I don't see
Oh,
it.
and then he was like, now I'll do heroin and have dead babies. Oh,
I'm
but
the
that's
sailing.
not good enough. We need to go back to the colony that we raped and put them all in poo. Poo, I tell you. And if you don't like that, and if that don't earn me a Best Oscar, then you can all go fuck yourself.
Oh, if there is two
Yourself.
things that the Academy loves, it's magic retards and shit jokes.
Bo,
That rant's got to go on like a special.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah, I nominate that rant for best of the
And
decade.
now-
That's best rant of the decade.
Yeah, that should be the first Bo says. So remember why you should never ever watch.
have you?
So
Would you
I'm
like a
going
drink? I don't think you've had anything. You-
As the only sober person in this room, God, you guys are fucking drunk.
You guys?
Oh, wow. An appearance by Captain Obvious.
Yeah, but like I feel extra sober. Like and
None
I'm
of
not
us
drunk.
are
take
drunk
some
compared to Alki Allison
Dude,
over
I am
here.
so drunk.
She is ready to
nobody's
take us all.
Nobody's safe.
That's
feel like I drank some anti-alcohol that makes me more and more sober as I go. It's
All right,
weird.
moving on to music.
No, you know why we can't? Because it's already over 2 hours we've been recording.
Yeah, your rant,
Your rant was like
pushed us
15
over.
minutes long, dude.
That being
Hey,
said,
that was better than most of the music.
Long live the league!
At-
Move on to the music now.
at least we know what we're doing for the next couple episodes.
Yeah, that's true. The most scrambling for a topic.
Which is, hey, that works out great. In fact, you know what? I guarantee you one of the comics I want to discuss during our decade of comics is a guy who wrote one of those comics who lives here in Austin who's agreed to come do something with us. to
Oh,
come be on the
perfect.
show.
What?
So
Hell
I think
yeah.
that's absolutely perfect
Do
to
it.
save that anyway.
Oh, so that means we all got to put his comic on our list.
You've read. You probably
Wait, is his
I was
initials?
gonna say that
Is his
too.
initials MS?
his initials are MS.
I think I know that.
It's a hell of a good comic book. He lives here in
Well,
town.
he's
I've
a
talked
good-
to him already. He's looking forward to doing this.
He writes some good stuff.
Yes.
He's gonna wear a dress and sing with his back towards the audience.
We're going to make him dress as Power Girl and Kane from House of Mystery. So figure out who he is from that.
Wow.
Oh, right
Okay.
on.
House mystery.
And I will be locking up the whiskey cabinet. So, anyway, guys, that's
No,
about
we
as-
are serious about the Power Girl thing.
unless somebody has one last movie that they're pissed that they didn't get to discuss for the decade.
Yeah.
I think ending in the Dark Knight is perfect. Well, because of the it's the best movie. This
Ending on you playing the Batman theme.
Did
would
they
be
do
perfect.
Eddie and the Cruisers in the 2000s?
And by the way, Greg, that Batman movie that you hate so much, it premiered here in Austin.
You know
Wow.
what? I don't care. I'm from Chicago.
You're,
what does that mean to me?
Streets of Fire, bitches. It's the best
But
movie ever.
I would like to say why everybody is here that will probably agree with me. And I'm just going to throw it out here. Best animated movie of the decade, The Incredibles.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyone
Yeah.
talked
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
this?
I don't
Totally
think
agree.
I don't think
Consider
there's any way to disagree with that among this crowd. Anyway,
It's
does anyone
also one
here
of the best-
disagree that that's the best animated movie of the decade?
No.
No.
You can.
Hell,
Don't be
it's one of the best
afraid.
superhero
No,
movies
I
of the
mean-
decade.
It's both.
Allison looks like she has something
You
else to
say
say
opera
about
I
that.
just
don't know.
a very close Spirited Away, like a very close second
Yeah, no,
Spirited Away.
that is a
just
very
because-
good. That is a very
It's-
good second.
No, yeah,
second runner up.
I would prefer Spirited Away to over Incredibles.
Really, as much as
Yeah.
I adore Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, for that matter, I just think The Incredibles is a slightly better. It's not even slightly; it's a lot
and,
better
and for me,
movie.
it's
That's-
personal.
I
It's
love
just
it.
what I personally prefer.
Yeah,
I mean,
Princess Mononoke had too many like penis jokes in it for me. Like,
It did?
There's
It did?
so many dicks
Wow,
in
Are you
Princess
talking about
Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke?
Yes. There's so
well,
many
the-
dicks
the
in that
total
movie.
green
At this point,
environmental movie?
I think
So
we
many
moved
dicks.
on to Spirited Away versus
But-
The Incredibles.
So
I
you weren't
agree
saying the
with you.
porno version, the Princess Cockalotti? I saw that one, and you're right.
Princess
There was
Monopoke
too many
me?
dicks in that.
No, if we watch the movie, I'll be like, I'll point out, like, I'll stop it on all the dicks.
Yeah, and sit there and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
there's a
But-
difference between Princess Mononoke and Rurosoke Doji. I mean,
What's the? We don't speak Japanese.
Whoa.
What was that?
Yeah, this is a manga-free zone.
I beg your pardon.
yeah, I was about to say, there are 4 people who are listening to this going, fuck yeah!
Didn't we say long?
You're my people.
As much as I'm willing to do about anything for Nakado, I have that point that stops when I have no longer any clue what anyone is actually saying.
Tentacles.
So with that,
With
But,
that,
no.
with us saying that,
I
like,
do
maybe
think
there's
that's
some
what's
disagreement, but say like I
No,
can
I agree with you.
We can go. Miyazaki's films are like changed animation unquestionably this decade as far as what Americans were looking for with films like Spirited Away. They made us say, wow, you can make a children's film that is high art. And as much as The Incredibles said, you know what? Like for these Pixar films, what's going on?
They
you
can be good movies.
They can be movies that aren't just for kids as well in the same way, but a little bit different. They said, wow, that's not enough. We're going to do superheroes too, and say that that's accessible for everyone. It was a great decade for animation, period.
oh yeah,
Totally.
Oh,
agree.
hell
hell
yeah.
yeah, just this year alone.
Yeah, just this year was the decade.
I
for-
am
or
actually
year.
willing to
Well, I
sleep.
guess not this
I am
year, but
actually
the
willing to
previous
sleep with
2000.
Cyrus out of that explanation alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Again? You
Not
don't remember
safe.
the last time.
On a not safe list.
I won't remember this time.
That's why you're not allowed to drink tequila anymore.
Not
But anyway,
Brought new meaning the term blowing the horn of Gondor.
oh no, it didn't. Please
No, you
don't ruin
didn't.
those movies for me.
Stop it.
Dude, you're within punching distance. Come on, Cyrus.
Here's to the
Yeah,
beautiful
right
land
turn,
of Gondor that has been ruined by fucking years.
I'm starting to say quickly, League, die.
Long live the league!